right, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. We are slowly but safely going live. Um, and today I have sometimes a Tom with me, and we are gonna talk about a little 80's gem that I think it's a little bit overdue that we talk about. So we're gonna do it, and well, let's see if I get the right scene here. Yes, I do. And here we have the man himself. Wait, I'm gonna unmute him. Welcome.
Hello.
Uh, you had a motorcycle driving by?
Yeah, the window's open. The window's open, otherwise I die because I'm underground.
Yeah, I
In
know, I know.
bunker.
It's like I showered before and I'm greasier than bacon right now. And
Oh no.
it's like it's fucking horrible. And thank you, Exceedus, for the sub. 1 year. You're crazy. All right. So today we were gonna do a skit, but I decided that because I was looking for
Yeah.
different list channels yesterday that lists this movie as one of their things, like real fucking shit that happens or real live footage from trail cams or whatever. Um, and I was like, no one is gonna believe that because everyone has already seen it. Like,
It, like you would think at this point, even with the red letter media's best of the worst being so prolific, people
yeah,
would know by now, but no, they still do it. Like
yeah, they
we
still do.
we joke about this all the time. And I even said we should do that as a skit at the front, and then you find it and it's just like fuck.
Yeah, I found three movies yesterday, three videos yesterday that had that creature because I was like, I was basically I went to Google, searched YouTube plus Xtro, and first of all, that got a lot of results. But when
Yeah.
you went to videos, it was that the Google reacted to commentaries to the videos,
Hmm.
so I could easily find. I mean, and I'm not even joking. I found three, and I was looking for what 20 minutes, and they were all like 12 mysterious creatures in the woods or some dumb shit like that. And and they were all like, and they all used that upside down twisted creature from
So
Xtro.
it's always the same clip in different degrees of quality. The lower
Yeah,
quality, the higher, the more people believe it's real, apparently.
yeah, and what's even more amazing about it is that when I looked at the movie the other day, I realized that they use a photo or a snap of the movie that is literally like 2 frames.
Yeah.
Like they have to be because that shot isn't very focused
No.
on the creature, so it's
It's
like it focused in 2 frames maybe.
it's handheld camera as well from like the back seat,
Yeah,
which is also why it works really well. But yeah,
yeah,
I
and they take the two focused frames and use that in their video,
yeah.
and I don't know where this originated from.
Well, I have a feeling because we'll probably get into how I know how, like discovered these movie years ago was seeing a GIF of that.
Yeah,
Like, so, really, really basic GIF, and just seeing that and being like, that looks cool, so I need to go find out. And like, for the longest time, it was like, no, it's real. It's like, it's not real. That's a person in a costume. You can see it. But I think that GIF did circulation on the internet for quite a while, and
yeah,
then it gets a life on its own. I think people started making creepypasta about it as well, and
yeah.
then like
I
people saying it's a skinwalker and it's the rake and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's so stupid. Just like I mean, I love my fair share of paranormal stories or occult
Yeah.
stories. That I like that. I even have my series on YouTube that is Myth and Monsters. I love that shit. It's super engaging. It's super funny. Uh, and I find a lot of people love that shit. But when you see a picture like that with a creature that is not anatomy, like the anatomy of it is
Yeah.
so fucked. It's so profoundly fucked that you kind of start have to, why don't you reverse Google that image? Like, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, we're talking about Xtro. Maybe I should show that picture because I have
Yeah.
it. Wait, I'm just gonna skim through all my open windows that I have. I'm gonna see. Why can't I? No. Fuck you. Go away. All right, let's see. Xtro. Xtro. There it is. Can I open it? Wait.
Don't know if I have either.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna capture it real quick here. Oh right. Yeah, I can do that. All right. So here we got the picture. This is a distorted one that they use for a certain video.
Oh,
I
yeah.
found yesterday. This one is altered. Like,
Yes.
it doesn't look like this in the movie.
No, they've added all kinds of effects onto that.
Yeah, they really, because if you watch the movie, you can kind of see that it is a practical puppet, like because of the movements and stuff like that. So they added like a ton of filters here because if I believe right, when I paused at this frame, I think you can see a part of the mechanism that moves it.
Is that a puppet or was it the guy in the suit? Because I know they hired like a mime who could crawl on his back essentially.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think this is the mime in the suit. I think it is because what I mean is that you can see. I think the costume.
Yeah, I've actually got the movie up now. It's a guy in a suit. You can see the whip.
Yeah, exactly. So they edited that out and put this picture in the video. I don't think that this is the channel Slapped Ham. Yeah, I'm calling you out, motherfuckers. And I don't think they edited the picture. I just think that they got it. Someone sent them it.
It would have been somewhere off the internet, and this person's never seen Xtro, so it's like, oh, this is real.
Yeah, and also what I like as a hunter, I'm gonna say that there is no trail cameras by roads. I'm just gonna put that out. This is a road, like there's no trail cameras on there unless you have a problem with a certain animal on a road. But if this is your problem, you should probably not call a hunter, but what else? Well, that is the creature. If you ever see this in a video, call the entire video bullshit because they haven't done research at all.
No, I think at this point we should really, like, when you sent me that message saying, I was just like, really? People are still doing this?
Yeah.
Like, people were falling for this like 8 years ago. They should not be still falling for this.
No,
It's madness.
Yeah, but they do. And I left a comment. What did I write? Let's see.
What if you see it in real life? Well, go over and poke it, and if it says "ow" with the guy in the suit, if it shoots a weird tongue at you, possibly impregnates you, then it's an alien.
Yeah, it's that's an excellent answer.
As a paranormal investigator myself, I often rely on the ow test.
Yeah.
It says ow, it's probably a person.
Yeah. And I left a comment on the video reading, "Nice to see that the alien from Xtro made yet another list." It's I mean, because there was not a lot in the comment sections that commented that it was from Xtro, but in the video he said Some claim it's from a trade camera. Some claim it's from an unknown sci-fi movie, and I was like, "Come on, this is just
Oh no.
dishonesty. This is just
The,
dishonesty. You know damn well what movie it is."
yeah,
It's like,
unknown fucking hell.
but anyway, let's talk about Xtro.
Yeah.
It's a 1983 sci-fi horror movie.
Hmm.
Um, it's a little bit of an Alien clone, but not entirely. Uh, and it's an indie movie, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
It
it's like a
was
low
not,
budget British indie.
yeah, and its director is Harry Bromley Davenport. I have the IMDb up here for people to see. Um, and well, you have seen Extra. What do you think of that movie?
Extras. Going back, like, yeah, it's pretty amazing. I think it's got such a weird atmosphere, and the director says this was unintentional, but that's what kind of makes the movie really work. I don't know if it's like a combination of the lighting, the music, the effects. It all kind of amalgamates into a movie that should not be good, but it is.
Yeah,
Somehow they managed to make a really, really good sci-fi film of what you can tell is a really low budget, but because they stuck with the old principles of keep stuff in shadow, be subtle, all that stuff. Don't go over the top of anything. They try and keep it kind of down low key as much as possible. I mean, you could relate to it, the entire film being a family drama if you wanted, because
yeah.
that's the
I mean,
crux of
because
the film.
like uh, I would like to touch on that too a little bit. Since I outright said it's a little bit of an alien clone. We will get to that, but
Hmm.
um, at at first it's first and foremost a kind of triangle drama, basically, between a dad that has been lost and comes back home, and the wife and her new boyfriend basically have to figure out what to do
Hmm.
when the husband comes back home, and they have a son and stuff like that. But but I always felt like watching this movie. I always felt like it's such an oddity. It's
Hmm.
like it's one exactly as you said. It's one of those movies that should be bad. Like it
Yeah,
should be so bad. Like because there are so many indicators in the movie that tells you this movie should be bad, but
yeah.
it's not. I like how it is a wait, what? I've got a question. What does creeping exactly entail? It usually means that you creepily go and follow other women
Yeah.
around to an
I,
extent that people can notice it.
to be honest, that does happen in Extra.
Yeah, it does.
I think when I say creeping like the movie, I think what I mean is like the pacing, because it's quite a slow movie.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
is.
like, but at the same time it very I mean that point with the car and the creature popping out and everything, that's like 8 minutes into the movie, so it kind of just throws you in, and then for a long time it's very slow and it builds up and builds up. That's what I mean by
Yeah, but
creeping.
and it got these scenes with the alien. It got them spread out and
Mm.
at a good pace. Like you have all this drama going around, and then you have the alien scenes happening. Like everything feels very professionally written. It's
Hmm.
like yeah, it's like I would say it's comparable to how Alien works in a way, because the first Alien starts kind of the same way, not with a mime in a suit on the side of the road crashing their like in their Volvo, but it's kind of the same idea because it starts kind of slow. It has an action scene, and then it has this long downtime where nothing really happens,
Hmm.
and no one really knows what's going on.
It's a lot of drama and character pieces, because I mean you could describe the film as Kramer versus Kramer, but one of them's an alien in a way.
Yeah, yeah, kind of, yeah, kind of.
It's if you take all the alien like stuff out, it's kind of a divorce drama, just
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah. I'm just gonna. say that right now. I excuse the. I'm sorry to the audience if I feel like my head is filled. If I sound like my head is filled with snot, that's because it is. Uh, so, so I'm trying to contain that and not spray it all over the camera and everything. But I can't promise that. So it might be a nice extra moment. Who knows? Uh,
I'll be worried if eggs come over your nose. That's
yeah. Touching a little bit about going back, if we leave Xtro a little bit, but we go back to 80s sci-fi overall, we see this kind of sci-fi relatively often.
yeah,
Like it's kind of a common theme to have, you have that one alien coming down. Like they all copied it. They all decided we all want to be the new alien, and
yeah.
that worked to various degrees. It didn't really work for Xtro either at the time of the release. I think it made its money back, but I don't think it. I mean, it didn't do much, but it did. It did warrant a sequel, two
It
sequels.
yeah, it did well enough on the VHS sales. The interesting thing about Extra was a lot of people say it was part of the banned list of the video nasties that was
Yeah,
around in the 80s, that included stuff like Evil Dead. But it was never on that list. There was like 70 something videos, but Extra was never on that list. But I think it got the notoriety of being
yeah,
involved with that. So the VHS sales went huge, like skyrocketed, just like with Evil Dead. Because I
yeah.
mean, the only thing that video nasties list did was tell people watch these movies.
Yeah, it's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm just gonna answer Don James. I gotcha harassment or something like that. I don't think necessarily harassment. It's just you talk to girls, ignore all the boys, and you only talk to girls because you like girls. Like creeping is not talking to them because they are persons, but because they are girls.
I have a question. Is tentacle rape harassment?
Yes, that no, that's rape.
Oh,
That is rape. That is not harassment.
I need to write this down.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, do that. Do that.
Tentacle
That can be important when you go to the court of law. Like, no, you can't reclassify things. It doesn't
Ah.
work that way.
Well, tentacle rape happens in Extra. If you're into that, anyone watching, it happens.
There is a lot happening in Xtro. There are some scenes that are questionable.
I have a feeling that Extra, for people growing up in the 80s and 90s who watched this movie, was an awakening for many fetishes.
Yeah, it was because watching it now, sure, I don't see it as much,
Yeah.
but thinking about the scene, the horror scene, and the state it was in, basically after the 70s, horror got a lot of shit for being very exploitative. Because you had a surge of exploitative films in the 70s, which was unregulated basically, so they could make a lot of them. We have like Cannibal Holocaust, tried it, and a lot of other movies too. They are so exploitative that authorities found a reason to go in and like, hey, whoa,
Yeah.
hold the fuck on, is that a titty exploding? We're gonna have to cease that. So the 80s were a period where horror movies went a little bit more mild. You can see that when you look at movies like Poltergeist
Yeah.
or movies like Close Encounters of the Third Grade. They never, go really horror, but they
No,
were
they've got
intended for it.
sprinklings, and they I guess into the reaction of like outright gore, they did go with more mood settings and well, I guess you could say it's again because they all wanted to copy Alien.
Yeah,
They more went with mood and lighting and music as a big part of it, rather than the just outright there's gore and everything out, not to be shocking but to be tense. Because
yeah,
as we all know, like the best horror is tension, not jump scares or gore. Some
yeah.
people are afraid of blood, but there's that disconnect of it's fake and it goes away eventually. But horror is really effective when something happens and it sticks with you throughout the entire duration, even after the movie is ended. And I think a lot of the movies from the 80s attempted to do that.
Yeah, I kind of like that move, but I mean, I'm a sucker for gore, so it's
Yeah,
like I'm
fair
a real
enough.
sucker for gore. I'm the guy that like I laugh at some kill scenes because they are so hysterical,
Mhm.
like like a lot of the kill scenes that of the Friday the 13th series is like they are great because they're so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, but they are really gory. The Friday
Oh
the 13th is not that gory, but a lot of
no,
the
it's
scenes
not.
are like when Jason just folds two people together. That's like that is just like class A comedy right there.
Yeah.
There's like they know what they were doing and it's just hilarious. But I think that this focus on tension more than anything else in horror came from the backlash of the 70s exploitative scene.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't, do that. You couldn't ship sheep horror anymore as just blood fests or trying to burn actors like in Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that anymore because the authorities were like, "What the fuck?" And I mean, we're right. I mean, we're right because I don't think there are many exploitative movies that were made safe. Like
No.
I don't know if I can say that I don't know if I can say that it's only pure fucking luck more people didn't die making them.
Yeah, probably.
And yeah, I bring up kind of a Holocaust here, but that's just because that's just basically a workplace violation in every scene.
Yeah.
It's it's a horrible fucking movie. I mean I like it, but it's kind of horrible, especially when you
Mm,
read about how they made the movie. It's just like, was it worth it? No, not really.
probably not. And I think the worst part about Cannibal Holocaust was it inspired so many other hack Italian directors to make their own cannibal movies. And
Yeah,
for some reason, every single one of them has animal killing in them. Just every single one. They always
yeah.
have animals fighting or being killed, and it's like, is this necessary? It's very
I mean,
odd.
it's not that hard to make a fake turtle. I
No.
mean, I'm just saying it's pretty easy. I can do it, in styrofoam,
Yeah.
but but the thing. But that is also an interesting twist. The Italian horror scene. What kind of fucked up place is that? I mean, if you read about it, you would be like, "Holy shit!" The only good thing coming out of there really is like Argento.
Yeah, Dario Argento's films,
I mean,
Fulci.
I'm gonna say right now, I'm not a massive fan of Suspiria,
Hmm.
but that is not because I don't think it's beautifully filmed or anything.
Mm.
I just don't feel the movie,
Yeah.
which I get a lot of shit from other horror fans. But I usually think that that is because yeah, you're just trying to be pretentious, you little dick.
Well, it's that horrible melding of movie snob and horror fanatic, where you get this
Yeah,
Suspiria crowd, and it's just like, shut up. I know it's beautiful and it's colorful, but it's like people are not allowed to. You're allowed to not like things, guys.
yeah, they really don't like people criticizing Suspiria, and I understand why. I mean, it's not objectively a bad movie,
No.
but it's kind of boring, and and while it's beautifully shot, the story is kind of lame. I feel that way anyway, but I guess it's because I saw Cannibal Holocaust first. It's
Mm,
like it fucked me for me. So
yeah.
like, yeah, milk toast. No, but so there is a remake coming out of Suspiria. I just want to mention that, which is
Yeah.
kind of horrible. Um,
Speaking of remakes, I just saw that the Crow remake is fucked, which I'm happy about.
yes, I find that project disrespectful.
They should just leave it alone.
Really,
Like,
really, like an actor died on the set, and you're gonna
yeah,
remake that movie. That is
like
kind of shitty.
even if you were to separate it from what happened, The Crow does not work any decade now, like past the 90s. The
No,
film doesn't work past the 90s.
no, it's
And
very 90s. Like,
I mean, and I've read the comic book, and that's like the comic book and the music is so intertwined because it's a very personal fucking story the guy was
yeah,
telling. And like to do that nowadays, I can only see them doing modern music, and I want to throw up.
Yeah, a little bit because I mean, I mean the goth scene is alive and well, but it's not the same
Mm,
goth scene as in the
no.
early '90s. And also talking about The Crow, I saw Good Bad Flicks, which we mentioned earlier
Mm,
in this podcast, and I saw his video on The Crow, The City of Angels,
yeah, I've seen
and
that one too.
that video made me sad.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's if no.
Harvey Weinstein, dude,
Yeah,
because
I want.
that
I want.
movie was, if you just go by the writer, that movie was great.
Yeah, I want to see a fucking director's cut of that,
Yeah,
or like the full cut, because they butchered that movie.
yeah, and it's a shame because
Mm.
people actually put good work into it. It sounds great when you hear
Yeah.
about it. You know, the actual movie, not what we got to see. Um, but like, uh, but as I said, I think that the '70s kind of fucked the '80s a bit when it comes to horror
Mm.
movies because so much exploitative movies came out, and authorities had to do something. So everyone that wanted to do horror had to, go back a bit. I think Carpenter with The Thing is the only one that really stands out during the
Y-
'80s as
Yeah, but he got a lot of shit for that.
yeah,
Like,
he did, and the movie bombed.
yeah,
Um,
even the writer of the original story, who goes there, said it was a piece of shit
Yeah,
throughout.
that is harsh.
That's
I read the
yeah,
original story, and that author is full of shit.
yeah.
So, but
No,
if you can't watch what you write, why do you write? You dumb
yeah.
fuck.
It's completely like, it's just, who shall I rip off? Well, Lovecraft, obviously, but
Yeah,
like but you could tell because like I think we talked about Alien being a really big kind of influence on the scene, but also if we're talking about The Thing, also E.T. came out a few months before that, and
yeah,
that introduced the idea of a friendly family alien, and I
yeah,
think that kind of really sucker punched the whole alien genre in a way,
yeah,
especially with
yeah.
The
It
Thing.
did, and we're gonna mention I think Close Encounters
Yeah.
as well in that because why they are friendly, like how they talk to the spaceship and everything. It's not as bad as The Thing because The Thing is just outright evil. It's basically the writer that wrote The Thing read Lovecraft and
Hmm.
took the Tunguska event
Yeah.
basically and made it into this novel. And then Carpenter took that novel and made it into the movie. Then the author said the movie was shit, but it's kind of exactly the novel, so I don't understand what it's talking about.
Yeah.
And well, Carpenter got kind of fucked.
Yeah, he
So,
did.
but this was the decade where AAA titles, as we call them today, or studio titles, had to be careful because they were afraid of age restrictions of their movies. Because if you age restrict the movie too much, you're not gonna get the sales.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So that opened a little bit of a way for indie movies to slither in like snakes, and they did it. A lot of them did. There is too many one alien invades Earth indie movies in the '80s that I can mention,
Yeah.
and they all suck. They are all fucking shit,
Yeah.
except for Xtro. And that is what put this movie aside because it was not intentionally good. It was just made.
Yeah. It's Extra is a really is just an anomaly of like everything that happened, of like sound and everything, and it's just I think of how weird it is just really made it stand out from everything else.
Yeah, and I think something that got a little bit in the shadows here is maybe they should have thanked the editor a lot more because I
Yeah.
think he saved the movie.
Probably, yeah.
Because um because There is a lot of good things with Xtro though that you don't see in other movies. It has pretty good practical effects most of the time. Most of it looks good. Some of it is just bad alien replica,
Yeah.
basically. Like when he put the eggs in the tub, I was like, okay, why did he have eggs? Where
Well,
did
I
they
think
come from?
that scene was added pretty much after the entire movie was filmed, I think, if I remember
Yeah,
rightly. The original idea was to have clones of the Tony guy,
yeah,
but like apparently the original effects were shit, so they just made the scene again. I think that's why it takes place in a completely white, voidless room with a like fridge or something in it,
yeah.
and it's one of the things about Extra is it's kind of an alien film, but it's an art house alien film in a way.
Yeah,
It's really weird.
I mean, it's really hard to keep track because I was watching the movie the other day, and it's really hard to keep track of what's happening sometimes
Mhm.
because I looked away for a second, and all of a sudden there. I mean, I've seen this movie before a couple of times, but you know, you don't always remember everything in detail. And who the fuck is the French bitch?
She's just the nanny. Just I guess she's
The
just the living
nanny.
nanny.
I was like, is it the sister or someone? Why is she French?
I I don't know. It's well, in the movie, she is the French nanny who helps out around the house.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of the film, she is the actress that said yes to nudity.
Mm.
That's how it works.
Because,
But she's
because
naked.
I must have missed like a glimpse there, like because I was like, why is she French? Because this time I was, you know, looking at the movie and really trying to take note of things.
Yeah.
And then it just popped up to me like, who are you and why are you French?
Well, uh, Tony asks his son that. It's like, who's that girl I saw with this morning? And he's like, oh, it's whatever her name is. She's a nanny or something.
He's
And then
about
and he says she's French, and I was like, okay,
so
she's just French. She just
it's Mrs. Baguette.
yes.
She's here. She eats snails. Uh,
No, fortunately they don't go like too stereotypical with the French one.
no. She only has, you know, she only has sex while she's supposed to work,
Yes, that's fine.
and she aborts the sex because she gets a phone call, a very important phone call. But it's
Yeah.
like, and the guy gets blue balled and very
No,
mad.
I think they have sex after that. She does.
Yeah, no, yeah, they do, but.
He says like, how much time do we have? And she says enough. And I thought, oh, that's romantic.
Oh, poor guy.
Our sexual encounter is like waiting for a bus.
Yeah, but so anyway, so the movie starts out with the alien running out of the woods. No, it doesn't. It follows this couple
It's in
that
the
run.
It's well, we have the scene before that in the cottage at the very start where they're
Yeah.
throwing the stick around for the dog,
Yeah,
and Tony for some reason decides to throw the stick onto the roof. Like the dog's gonna go up there, really?
yeah, but it's a Super Mario dog, so it can jump.
Ah.
Yeah,
But he throws the stick up to the sky, and all of a sudden the sky just goes black.
Yeah,
It
right.
cuts to night, which is quite a nice thing. And then he gets sucked through a portal and or spaceship, and then cut to
yeah.
3 years
It's
later.
they do the typical the alien abduction story thing there.
Yeah.
It's just a light, and he gets sucked in, and that's how he disappears. And then the boy and his mom is left alone, and they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
daddy disappeared," and everyone is like, "Yeah, it's normal to disappear from a cabin," and no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
So, and then the alien comes out of the woods, scares a couple.
Yeah, it's really weird that scene because I just rewatched it and there is like a flash of something in the sky. You never see it, but then it cuts to like the forest is on fire, and
Yeah.
then there's lots of weird shots of something. Now I don't know if he's emerging out of some egg or something, but it looks
Yeah.
like he's hatching in a way.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yeah,
And there's a great shot of the full creature, but they've hid it behind this branch. I guess
yeah.
it's odd. So it kind of gives this look of voyeurism, I guess, on the whole scene. It's
yeah,
really weird.
but here's where I think the editor saved it. He was like, he saw the scenes he was gonna cut together, and I was like,
Yeah,
fuck that shit because that looks crap,
possibly.
and then just saved it.
Well, the good thing about these scenes is they kept it in very low light,
Yeah.
very dark.
So the alien comes up and the guy goes out, tells his wife to not get out of the car. Uh, well, I mean, she doesn't care.
No,
And
she really doesn't care. That was two takeaways from that scene. What the fuck are they listening to on the radio? And two, she does not give a fuck. He goes off, and then she closes the car door, and I think she just starts the car, and she's like, well, better leave. It's like, what the hell's
yeah,
happening?
it's a weird scene because and after that scene we have the birthing scene, which is a fairly popular Xtro meme.
Yes.
With right, I will say, because that scene is fucking disturbing. Because
Yeah.
that is a woman giving birth to a full-grown man,
Oh boy. There's
and it's like I feel like the actress isn't acting enough because wouldn't
Yeah,
you
yeah.
scream bloody fucking murder, and she just pants like whoo whoo whoo, and I'm like no 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 no.
she's
No, no.
screaming like someone asked her to do a fake scream. It's
Yeah,
really odd.
yeah. It's like you giving
Meanwhile,
birth
her
to a
stomach is
man.
like
You
her
gi-
stomach is like way out here, and it's like,
yeah.
what the fuck is happening? And then he basically tears his way out, and there's just bits of flesh coming out, and it's
Yeah,
like
and the
that's
pregnancy
fucking
goes
weird.
quite quick because the alien impregnates her before, and then she goes
Yeah.
back to the house.
Well, it's
She doesn't know that, right?
yeah. There's like a dog that goes outside and it's barking, and then
Yeah,
she goes in, and then it attacks. It's underneath the table, and there's a quite creepy shot of
yeah,
it because it's half in shadow. That's good,
yeah,
and then.
and then yeah, it
A
does.
tentacle comes out from
Yeah,
somewhere. It's
it-
never established where it is, but it latches onto her face,
yeah,
which is the alien part of it.
yeah, it does the face hugger thing, and then she wakes up and she's in pain. She's nauseating. She tries to grab water, and then all of a sudden she becomes super pregnant.
Yes, very,
And,
very quickly.
Yeah, that's very quickly. It's quicker than Alien. Like it's
Oh yeah.
way quicker than Alien. And
I think there's a scene between when she
Yeah.
gets impregnated and then she gives birth, but it's like it's a few minutes at
yeah,
least. and
this is
it's-
this is what Ebola wishes it was. Like it's fast.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then-
he goes. So it's like I guess the implication is that he needed a human body to transform himself back into a human because he was when he was abducted he was changed into an alien. That's what crash lands on Earth, and that's what you see wandering around on its weird bent legs.
I'm gonna assume he needed a woman
I guess
because
like-
do you know they give birth?
yeah, I mean
because she does give him a natural birth. It's
Yes.
it's not a chest burster.
no,
Like an
it's
alien. It's straight out of yeah. And
it's a woman giving birth to a fully grown man, and it's
Yeah.
weird.
it's that scene is really weird. I like it, but it's like whoever came
It's-
up with it, fuck you, because you're fucked in the head.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah.
That is kind of fucked to write down. And then the woman gave birth to a full-grown man. Do you know how dead she would be? And she dies eventually. Don't worry. But
I mean, he practically ripped the woman in half getting out.
yeah, and it's
Just
like,
like that's not how bones work.
no,
There's not enough room.
in reality he would suffocate in there,
Yeah.
or
But yeah, it's
or he
it's one of
breaks the
those.
stomach skin.
Well, I think he does, but it's one of those scenes where like this is disgusting, but it's really well lit.
Yeah, it's really well lit. Why is it well lit? Like,
I just.
I mean, I enjoy the scene, but at the same time, I'm like, who the fuck did this? Because you know, sometimes when you watch movies, you like wonder that. You know, who wrote this? It's like the scene in Hostel with the eye and the blowtorch, and
Yeah.
and you know it was Eli Roth because he's fucked in the head,
Yeah.
and it's like I know that, but if I would stand, you know, in front of him and like ask him, how the fuck did you write that scene? Because that is fucked up. Like, I can find out ways to torture people, but blowtorching a popped eye, I don't know. I don't know if I can write that because it's fucked.
That scene really does. It's like a lot of the scenes in Xtro, and a lot of the there's a lot of scenes in 80s sci-fi where like someone had an idea, like
Yeah,
and they just ran with it. Like a lot of Tom Savini's works like that. He
oh
just
my
thinks
god,
stuff up and then
yeah,
he just does
yeah,
it, and it's just like. So I don't know if that was like one of those things where special effects guys like, hang on, I can make this. Don't worry,
yeah,
I can make an expanding stomach.
yeah, and I mean, to put that in perspective, to put that into other movie makes that was popular during the 80s, in the action movies, which we kind of have to touch at some point because they kind of share, they kind of share the same basis of fucking awful.
Yes.
Like a lot of them are amazing. But something that in this action did in the 80s was post-apocalyptic movies because and all of them takes
Oh
place in
man.
Nevada. It's
Yeah.
like where do we film? Nevada, of course. It's a desert. So every movie looked like Mad Max. And well, like a very bad version of Mad Max.
Yeah.
And, or in an Asian country. It's always like a Nevada desert or an Asian country where no
Yeah.
one asks if
There was
80 bullets is fired into a building. Everyone's just like, yeah, I'm not touching that, motherfuckers.
there,
Like,
wa- yeah, there was a lot of Italian and I guess movies from Singapore that were basically just ripping off every big movie, and for a long time because the Road Warrior came out in America and
yeah,
and Europe, and they just went fucking nuts for that.
yeah. I mean, you can see a lot of this if you see Red Letter Media's
Yeah.
Best of the Worst, because there is a lot, and there is a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think what they used to do was they literally like shoot these films back to back. Because
yeah,
you watch those films and you're like, you can see a lot of similar landmarks. It's like, I remember that quarry.
yeah. I mean, a lot of those movies were also share scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you have, and if you see David Carradine, you know he's not sober.
No.
Like I would never forget that Best of the Worst when they asked which movie Future Force.
Yeah.
That movie because I went and watched that movie after I seen that Best of the Worst,
Oh,
and
no.
that dude is tanked. Like
Yeah.
he is so fucking right. He's so drunk that in the last scene when they're gonna drive off, he isn't let the girl actor doesn't let him drive.
Yeah. Because there's an actor on the ground pretending to be dead, and if they let him drive, he probably would have run them over.
Yeah, he is so fucking tanked. He comes over
Yeah.
like. What did he even say? I don't know.
No idea.
They didn't have boom mics. That's like no. But the 80s horror scene was kind of the same in a way because not that it shared, the same quarry or something like that, but it kind of was molded in the same writing mold. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people wrote the same shit, but with different variations of fucking terrible monsters. And I think Xtro is one of those movies that come so close to an actual good villain.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Like,
Yeah.
it's still fucked because it's not nearly as explained as it should be because nothing makes sense.
No.
But it's still kind of good. You still kind of, continue watching.
It's because it's one of those things where you're just like, okay, I have no idea what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
Like, the start with the birth scene just establishes, okay, we're gonna get fucking weird with this. So stick
Yeah.
around.
And I mean,
You are just watching it because I'm gonna go back explaining how I first watched this. Was I saw that GIF on the internet and then I found out, oh, it's Xtro. Oh, that looks cheesy and 80s sci-fi. I'll watch that and kind of riff it on my old live stream channel.
Yeah.
I used to just, this is back when no one give a shit about content. Like on this is on live stream.
Content. No one
Yeah,
care about quality.
yeah, well, that and no one cared if you fucking streamed a movie on live stream or whatever. So I used
Yeah.
to do like movie nights and stuff, and there was one I did Xtro, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit and like watch this, and then there's a point where he's like, I'm supposed to be kind of making jokes, but I'm really into this. Like, I'm not being entertaining, I'm just watching the movie now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be cheesy and shit, and I'll be able to make fun of it. And it's like, no, I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. I feel like because I saw Xtro a long time ago. Me and my ex-girlfriend had these 80's movie nights. It eventually turned out to old horror movie nights.
Yeah.
It was because we ran out of 80 horrors that we could get our hands on. I'm not saying it's not possible to see all 80s horror in a lifetime if you get them all. It's impossible to do that. So don't try. Don't try. So we decided to old horror movie nights, and one night we came across Xtro, so we saw it, and I mean she wasn't that into it, but she's not an Alien fan
Yeah.
that much like me. And after the movie, she was like, "Well, that was fun," and I was like, "That was great." and she like, "What?" And I was like, "That was great. That was a great movie." Like, yeah, but was it? I didn't understand a lot of it. Me neither. It was great.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good like review of Xtro. You should watch this movie. I don't know what the fuck happened, but you should watch it.
Yeah, because even now that I watched it yesterday, and I watched it the day before that too to prepare for this podcast. But I'm not sure I can really account for everything that happens in the movie.
So much stuff happens
Because I think a lot of it is dependent on cut scenes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it will never see the light of day. Like
Probably not.
they filmed a lot more. And then they just kept some scenes in that doesn't really make sense.
No.
One scene is that when he is birthed, the man, when he's birthed, his son wakes up with a lot of blood on him.
Yeah.
And that is never explained because that I mean I understand that they are trying to make a psychological telepathic or telekinetic connection there. I mean they're trying to do that, but they don't really build on that. It's like it happens once.
It's very weird. I think the kid says something like "Daddy sent it" about the blood.
Yeah, he
It's
says
really
he
weird.
says that to the doctor.
Yeah, that's
that
it.
comes, and but they never really establish it because after that scene, there's nothing. And also, the parents are horrible, by the way,
Yes.
because they're like, "Oh, he woke up full with blood." They get the house doctor. House doctor says it's fine, and they don't do anything more. And they're just like, "No, it was probably some weird prank." What kind of a prank would that be? You sick fucks! You're driving me into a hospital right now.
Yeah. Well, it's like they find the blood on him, and his mother is obviously freaked out, and phone the doctor, and the guy's reaction is, "Oh, what did he do now?" And it's like, "What the fuck?" Oh, it's like he's annoyed that the kid's bleeding. What the shit?
Yeah, it's really weird. And here's the thing: during that scene, the French girl isn't introduced,
No,
but she is the day after, and she just appears.
she's just there, and it's like, "Oh, hi, who are you?"
No, it's me, Mrs. Baguette. I'm your maid. How's those snails? To quote like John Oliver or something. But it's the movie, even with its glaring flaws, because if you pick this movie apart, it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it kind of is. It does come across as they had a lot of ideas for interesting scenes, but they didn't know how to string them together at all.
And there is where I think the editor came in, because he successfully somehow made an interesting movie of shit you don't understand. Like it's really weird because you can see studio movies make no sense,
Yeah.
and the editors can't fix it. And this is an indie movie, and they got like what the best editor in the fucking Americas. Like, I mean, I feel like that's how they did. They just had a fluke to find the best motherfucker ever to cut the
Yeah.
movie because I think he did a stellar job. I even think that he digitally altered some scenes. It feels like that the darkness in some scenes are not lightning, but they are kind of artificial. So I think he darkened some scenes too, because you got this oppressing darkness in some scenes that you don't get when you just light up a set. That I think it did. I don't know if he's credited for this movie, but
I'm trying to look it up. I can't see. I can see an assistant editor, but not the editor themselves.
maybe they don't want to be associated.
Maybe it drove them insane.
Like, because they did a really good job doing this movie. Because I feel like without them, this movie would have been, one in the trash bin with the other 80s horror. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of other 80s horror that I've seen on Best of the Worst, but basically I just come up blank because I don't remember the names of them because I've seen a lot of them, and a lot of them are just
They're just so forgettable, and like just Xtro stands out so much.
yeah, that's
Like
what yeah.
it overshadows every single, most of the movies on there actually. But yeah,
Yeah, it really does. And like I have seen Extra 2, it's not good, really.
no,
Like it's named Extra 2, the second encounter. It's no.
no,
It's like Extra is a one time thing. You can't do it twice.
yeah.
Um but if we talk then I'll be right back, by the way.
Okay.
Just a minute.
And now I have to fill for airtime. Really need some jingle music or something. Hold on.
All right, I'm back. What are you doing?
I don't know. Oh crap! I've made everything horrible. There we go.
I just heard my headphones and I was like, did I leave on a video?
No, I was playing parts of the soundtrack to fill airtime.
Yeah, all right. By the way, I'm gonna say that Vlad and C did the graphic that I used to promote this
Oh, let me put it up.
podcast. The other one, it's great. I love it. He's a talented guy that he usually do a lot of my thumbnails and stuff like that for YouTube. So you should go follow him. I will write out his Twitter. Wait, he's a good guy. He's Dutch too, so swamp German. He will fight me for that, but anyway. So while we're talking extra, like the interesting thing, as we touched so much about with Xtro, is that the movie is an anomaly because it shouldn't work.
No.
And we also said in the beginning that is a little bit of an alien clone, and I told people that would get back to that a little bit, and we will, because there is some obvious alien parts to it. Oh wait, I got a follower. Dr. Crowley, welcome to the Horror Hotel. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. But the thing with Xtro, there are some glaring alien cop-outs. I would say it's like the writer didn't know what to do. So like it's obvious that they had an idea of an alien, right? And giving birth and all of that. And then they were like, how does this alien get introduced to humans? And they were like, alien.
Yeah.
So they did the facehugger thing with the tentacle that we talked about before.
Yes.
But we're also gonna talk about, as you said, the alternate ending or the fixed ending that they did with the eggs, because that is stupid, because it doesn't add anything to the movie.
No,
we don't even know what the eggs are supposed to be.
It's sequel baiting is what it is.
Because the alien doesn't seem to be egg based.
No.
So it doesn't need eggs, but then in the end he puts down eggs, and we don't know what they will spawn, because we don't know the original spawn of the alien in Xtro.
Yeah. Like, they just come out of nowhere as well. It's just, oh, there's eggs here now. Why? Because alien.
Yeah, I mean it's such an obvious alien copy. I mean it's obvious, because eggs are funny, and like Xtro is far from the first movie to copy the egg point. A lot of it do it. A lot of Parasite movies do it too, which is kind of funny, because Alien is actually a Parasite movie, because it's a literal parasite turned into predator.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a movie about penises. When I say that to some alien people, they scoff at me, but then it's true. I mean that's why it kind of don't work for Xtro either, because it doesn't have that kind of symbolism. Like,
no, it does come across as it's just there because it's an alien movie, so it needs to be there in some ways. It's that last scene just adds nothing, and it comes across as it comes across as what it is. It's like, oh, we need to change the ending quick, make something.
Yeah, because if we're going by alien standards, we have to talk about penises, because
oh, we have to.
Yeah, we have to, because if we're talking about Alien, you can't get around penises and vaginas, because
no,
it's scaringly enough. Like, people see like Alien as this creature, and the chest burster and then the face. If anyone watches this podcast, either on Twitch now or on YouTube later, and you haven't thought of aliens in genitals, welcome to have your movie wrecked, because that is essentially what it is.
The alien is just it's just a penis.
It's just a giant dick. It's the
dick with a smaller dick comes out of its mouth. It's just...
Yeah, and it's the chest burster is the dick.
Yeah,
the face hugger is a vagina.
Yeah, it looks like a vagina.
It is a vagina, according to the creator of it.
Yeah,
it's basically, but why that works in Alien is because it's a story about Ripley, which because when they first wrote Alien, they were gonna do it with a male protagonist, but they changed that when the art designer came up with the idea of the alien, because so they changed it to a female protagonist, and it's because it's basically, you would say, a very expensive, very good pro-abortion movie. It's I mean,
It's
Because
it's it's bordering on like Christian abstinence. This is why you don't have sex before marriage.
yeah,
Then the chest burster.
I mean, it's both that and that it's pro-abortion, so it's a conservative's worst nightmare.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you should be able to abort your baby because it's an alien that's gonna burst your chest.
Also, remember, speaking of conservatives' worst nightmare, Lambert, that character, was originally supposed to be transsexual. I think that I don't know what point that got lost, but yeah, at some point,
It would probably be studio executives
probably.
being a little bit transphobic. Like they like to be that.
Yeah.
But basically, what makes the egg situation work in Alien is because it's a story from a feminine perspective and not wanting to get impregnated. Basically, it's about, so you can say in a way that it is uh, pro contraceptives
Yeah.
kind of thing. She fights it off, she fights off the phallus. I hate that word, but and I mean, yeah, sure. So we think about that, and some people say that is giving the movie a little bit too much credit, but I think that was exactly what the art director
Oh
went
yeah.
for. I
I
don't
think
give a shit what Ridley Scott said. I don't give a shit.
I think Geiger was definitely going with the sexual imagery with that.
Yeah, and he has already said that. It's like that's what he was doing. It's not that Ridley Scott wrote it like that, but they kind of changed it to that
Yeah.
because
It kind of naturally evolved through the process of making the props and the filmmaking itself into that.
yeah, which is also why Prometheus is horseshit.
Oh no,
Fuck,
you
fuck.
said you wouldn't.
Oh my god.
Everyone drink.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's
Yeah,
the
we
drinking
went.
game.
Yeah, we went
You have,
there. Fuck.
you have to take a
We,
shot every time we shit on Prometheus.
yeah, here we go. I'll take a whiskey. Wait.
Oh dear. But yeah,
All
you
right.
can definitely see the echoes of weird sexual things in
Yeah.
Xtro, as just with the egg at the end and the
But
weird
but but
tentacle
but
rape at the start.
if we're gonna talk about like while we're on extra, we can also put some fair critique to it.
Yeah.
One thing is that it isn't consistent
No.
in the symbolism or anything. If you look at Alien, it's very consistent.
Yeah.
There's penises everywhere, and there is one woman that doesn't want to get impregnated. Basically, she arms herself with pee pills, contraceptives, and whatever. Flamethrowers seem to fend
Ah
guys off.
yes. Ah yes. Flamethrower is the ultimate contraceptive.
Yeah, it's like just arm girls with flamethrowers in school. It's
Oh dear.
no,
That will
but
set a bad precedent.
but but yeah. So the problem, but I would say it's not only a problem with Extro. It's a problem with 80s sci-fi as a whole because they don't
Yeah.
understand. They want to copy Alien, but they
Yeah.
don't understand Alien. Do
No,
you get me?
there's a lot of I don't know. I don't want to blame Alien, but I'm gonna blame the entire idea of movies in general. Um, the idea of rape being there for titillation's sake comes up a lot in these movies.
Yeah,
I remember watching doing a back-to-back feature of Galaxy of Terror and Humanoids from the Deep. Me and my friend were
yeah,
watching.
yeah. I've seen
And
those.
there is so much rape in those films for no reason. And we researched it and we found out that the rape scenes in both those films were added after the fact by a producer who said, "No, we need to see breasts."
Yeah,
And it's
and
just like, what is happening?
that happens a lot. It's like there is equally. I mean, in Alien, the rape is
Oh, It's
metaphorical.
and it's male rape as well.
Yeah, but it's highly metaphorical. It's not someone that has been subjected to the actual criminal act will not be
No,
triggered by it because it's metaphorical and it's not obvious sexual assault that you see. all you see is a parasite. But it kind of works the same. And then the
Yeah,
other movies said like, yeah, we need to have something like that too because Alien
it's
had it,
it's been a
and
long running thing in Hollywood films with putting
yeah,
rape in just to show
and
tits.
I hate it because I have seen a lot of 80's action too, and it's like they just force it in for boobs.
Yeah,
It's and it's horrible. It's
I'm not
absolutely
see,
horrible.
I'm not going to say, oh, you can't have rape in films. It's like if it's integral to the plot and the story and everything, I don't think there's like much you shouldn't be able to do
Yeah,
like on a film. But in this respect, it's like it's so obvious. It's like you're just doing that so you could show breasts.
yeah, and I mean, if
Like,
we're going for story plots, take "I Spit on Your Grave"
oh yeah,
has a reason for it to be shown. But that
mm,
movie also, when the original came out, had a sticker on it that said, "Maybe you shouldn't watch this if." People laugh at trigger warnings. I don't
yeah,
laugh at trigger warnings usually. I saw Ghostland a couple of weeks ago
hmm
when it was in the movie theaters here, and that movie is so filled with violence against women that when I reviewed it, I put a trigger warning in the beginning of it. That
hmm
is like this movie. If you can't watch violence against women in a very realistic violent way,
yeah,
then don't watch this movie for the love of fuck. Because I went in because I didn't check the director or anything before I went in and saw it.
yeah,
So I went in and saw it just because I wanted the movie to see a Friday night, and I was shocked to see the amount of violence against women in that movie and how realistic it was. And I was like, if I am shocked,
yeah,
imagine someone that actually suffered from this trauma.
yeah.
It's like, and I wrote to Swedish Cinema after, and I was like, maybe put a little bit of warning there, when ordering the tickets.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not
maybe
entirely obvious by the title alone, and probably not even the plot synopsis that that's
no.
what's going on.
It's like just add it. Like maybe if you're traumatized by violence.
The weird thing about like trigger warnings is they've always existed. They've just because it like everything else in our world, as soon as it's given a name, it goes out of control, and people
Yeah,
start like mocking and making fun, and then people overuse it, and it completely does it. But
yeah.
trigger warnings have been around for like since the '60s.
Yeah,
Like
I
it,
think earlier you had trigger warnings in Weird Magazine, the
yeah,
magazine that Lovecraft publishing.
fucking like Resident Evil games start with a trigger warning.
Yeah,
This game depicts scenes of violence and gore. That's a trigger warning,
yeah,
technically.
and I mean they are good. I say that it's good. I feel like if you're skipping a trigger warning when you make a movie just to
I f-
appease a crowd of cunts that sit on the internet and make fun of it, you're not making anyone a service. Because if someone sees a certain movie, let's say someone goes see I Spit on Your Grave and not knowing what it is.
yeah.
That happens. Some people just go to the cinema and buy a ticket for a movie,
Well, I
and
mean, even if someone watching us right now is like we're talking about Xtro, and we haven't really we've talked about the birthing scene, but if like what if we didn't talk about that? You know,
yeah,
Extra is such a weird movie. That a lot of stuff happens in it that you don't see coming, and we have
yeah,
it's very hard to communicate that.
yeah. I mean, you have to because
Mm,
people that want to watch the movie later, they have to have a fair chance to see if they want to watch the movie. I
hmm
mean, the movie can be great and all, but you can't force people to watch a movie if they are gonna be harmed by it. Because and we take trigger warnings like for Ghostland. I would like maybe put some warning there because
Yeah,
it's not regular horror movie violence we're talking about.
yeah.
This is the director of Martyrs.
Ah,
That yeah. So
okay. I understand now.
yeah, so if you get And if I say that
I
it
was about
has,
I was about to bring up martyrs since you mentioned
yeah,
extreme violence in women.
yeah, and if I say that this movie is maybe not as bloody as Martyrs,
Yeah,
but it is physical violence against women way more than Martyrs. Um, I mean, because when you see there is a scene when you see one of the girls with a swollen face because of a beating.
yeah,
I mean, that is scenes that kind of needs. It kind of would need a trigger warning, like because people can actually see themselves in that
yeah.
situation.
That's too relatable or realistic in a way, as opposed to martyrs, where a lot of the violence of that is so extreme. I don't think anyone can put themselves in that situation really.
Yeah, Ghostland is nothing like that.
Ah,
Ghostland is if that. I mean, I say I'm a horror fanatic, and I
mm,
say like, all right, put a warning on this movie. Then it kind of says something, right? I liked it. It's a great movie. It's a good movie even. But I'm not a woman that have been assaulted and beaten.
yeah,
So for me, it's kind of like ew. And for someone that has been beaten, it's probably kind of shocking and traumatizing.
yeah.
They might even start to flashback a bit
Well,
because it's
that's
that
why trigger
it's
warnings are a thing.
yeah, because it's that graphic. I'm telling you, it's that graphic. It's horrifying.
See, I think my problem with trigger warnings is people don't use them properly.
Yeah, I can
And
understand that.
people like it's for people who've been through very traumatic events that would trigger them to either relapse or recount the experience. But because of the internet, a lot of people use it for stupid, mundane bullshit.
Yeah.
That, oh, I'm upset. That means this thing triggers me. It's like, no, stop
Uh,
using it. This is
yeah.
why people make fun of you, and you're what's the opposite of legitimizing? Like you're tearing apart this entire thing that people would require.
I mean,
People would be
you're tearing down a protection service for
yeah,
people that because one have to realize that when a movie we say like Ghostland is that realistic
hmm,
in its violence, it's going to affect people that has experienced that kind of violence. I
yeah,
mean, they are just not gonna sit and like this is just a movie. They are gonna actually feel things.
yeah,
Like I feel things when watching that. I was like, holy shit! I can't believe I'm watching this in the Swedish cinema. I was like, holy shit! And if I feel that, a guy that has Jason and Pyramid Head tattooed,
hmm,
that's like, that is kind of like, put a warning on that.
yeah,
Because someone is gonna be hurt. And I don't want anyone hurt. Because I want people to enjoy movies.
hmm,
And if anyone risk being hurt, I always say, like, don't watch this.
yeah, of course.
Because I don't. Well, except for my ex girlfriend that I forced to watch Jaws. She has a shark phobia.
Has she ever been attacked by a shark?
No,
Well, then I think it's okay.
no, she lives in Sweden. We don't have sharks.
Yeah.
Well, we
Oh
don't
man.
have great whites at least. But it was like this was when I was a little bit younger and stupider and wasn't as adult as I am today, which is
Yeah.
kind of a joke to say, but anyway. And I said, let's watch Jaws. And I said to her, like, I will tell you every shark scene so she didn't have to see, the shark
Yeah.
because I know the movie. But I missed the last one, which is when the shark goes in through the bottom of the boat. And she threw up. That phobia is
Ooh.
real.
Yeah,
And I
that's
and
a
I think it was because I didn't really believe that phobia to be real.
yeah, well, it's one of those things you can never know like how someone's
Yeah,
going to feel or react to this shit. So
yeah,
maybe it's for the best interest to play it safe.
yeah. Because we saw this. I forgot about this. I mean, I honestly forgot it. I didn't.
Hmm.
I didn't set her up for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just outright threw up. It was on the second the shark just goes in the boat. It
Yeah.
was immediate. And I was like, holy shit, this is real. Like, but we saw through the movie. She was fine with it. She said it helped her a little bit.
Yeah.
A little. Like, she can see sharks now. Like, she can have a shark wallet. I think she has one.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But she's terrified of sharks. I mean, she's that is. But I mean, if a shark phobia can be that strong, imagine if someone has suffered a traumatic
Yeah.
experience. Like, that is, it's not even comparable, because my ex-girlfriend's shark phobia is stupid. I mean, it's not stupid because she's afraid, but it's stupid on a logical level, because we don't
Yeah.
have sharks in Sweden. You're not gonna go down to the lake by my town and get eaten by great white. That doesn't happen. The worst thing, what is it? A bass? Like, it's gonna come at you.
I mean, even if you were to go into like Australia and go swim in the ocean, you're still not going to like be attacked by a shark.
No.
They generally don't.
Yeah.
But-
So,
You know,
but the thing,
you do have sharks in Sweden, but they're super tiny.
yeah. Then they're not sharks. Fuck you. I mean, yeah, we have silver sharks. They are super tiny.
You'll have like reef sharks and dogfish and stuff, and
Yeah, we have some that would be classed as a shark. I mean, they're classed as a shark as a family of sharks. It's
Sure,
just not, they are not the predatory version of sharks.
chibi sharks.
No.
Look up images of baby white sharks. They are literally just white sharks shrunk. It's amazing. They're just
Yeah,
like someone on a Photoshop just went rescaled it. It's
Yes,
so-
yes, I have done that. They are equally terrifying, but they're small.
Yes.
It's like, it's like, what's that movie called? Oh God, I think they're about the baby sharks. No, wait, yeah, it's Deep Blue Sea 2. Have you seen
Oh,
that
right.
movie?
I have not seen it.
No,
No,
it's the direct DVD sequel of Deep Blue Sea. It came this year, and it's surprisingly good. It's not bad, actually.
Oh, I've killed one of those sharks.
Yeah, Pig High. I want to say it. Oh yeah.
I had to beat one of those sharks to death in my old job. That was fun. Because
Yeah,
I like sharks, but I had to smack its head off a fucking metal counter because it needed to die. Because we needed to sell it because I used to work at a fishery.
Yeah, that's kind of shit.
I quit that job. I was not happy about having to do that because you work officially. These things come in dead, whatever. But I had to kill it, and I was like, I like sharks. I'm not entirely happy with my life right now.
No, I mean, it's like that. I usually, when it comes to that thing, I'm like, we need to save the sharks. And most animal rights groups don't talk about it.
Well, because they're scary, because they're not cute.
Yeah, it's because they're not
That's the problem.
cute.
That's the
I hate
problem
it.
with animal rights. They don't give a shit if it's not cute. And it's like, fuck you. Sharks play a very important role in the fucking ecosystem.
Yeah, and as a hunter, it really hurts me to see that they don't care about the sharks. It's like I do. What the hunting we do in Sweden is called wildlife regulation. It's based on numbers of animals that we can shoot or that we should shoot in order to keep the wildlife not interfering with human life,
Yeah.
and in order for us both to just live in peace. Basically, it's a give and take system. And when I hear, like, let's say Greenpeace, I support Greenpeace actions with money in the Northern Sea, mostly because I oppose like oil drills and stuff like
Yeah.
that would affect whales and sharks. But they never talk about sharks, and I'm like, why don't you talk about sharks? Is it
Because
because they're
most
not
people-
cute?
Well, that's yeah, kind of. I think the general population doesn't think that sharks are cute or important. So
I love sharks. Have you seen them? They are perfect murder machines.
they
They're
are.
like
There
amazing.
millions of years of evolution put into one thing, and
Yeah.
it looks like you got all the best artists in the world and like make something that's fucking efficient. And it's like boom, shark.
Yeah, it's it's amazing, is it?
It is. It's crazy.
Uh, and that, by the way, talking about sharks, shark movies didn't
Mhm.
do too great in the 80's because no one had a budget for Jaws. Um,
No.
yeah, a lot of environmental groups talk about sharks, yes, but that's because they don't talk about animals
Because
specifically.
they see the bigger picture.
Yeah, they see the ecosystem
Mhm.
that they see the ecosystem as we hunters do too, because that's what we work after. Like, if we hunt moose, we have to look at the ecosystem
Mm.
of how that would affect the ecosystem if we shot 3 million moose. It would kind of disrupt the whole natural balance.
Yeah.
Uh, but if we shoot 78, it wouldn't. Uh, but yeah, environmental groups are great in that way. I would prefer to take care of them rather than just animal rights groups because
Yeah,
environmental groups
they
tend
tend to
to,
focus
yeah.
more on the bigger picture was animal rights. Like, oh, look at this one animal, isn't it cute? And it's like,
This
what
is
about
a
everything else?
panda and no one cares. Like,
Oh
I don't
fuck!
give a shit about your fucking panda. It's
I'm
cute.
I'm
It's cute.
convinced the panda is a evolutionary cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
I don't I don't think it's supposed
how can
like
it be? How can a species of animal be so unfuckable to itself?
I don't understand that species. It's really weird. They've become herbivores and they can't get enough energy from that, so they do nothing all day to the point where they can't even have sex. It's like,
Yeah,
what are you doing, evolution? Like you, in the natural scheme of things, I think pandas probably would have died away anyway. So it's like, I know we're not helping, but
I mean, China tries to save them, but like, is it worth saving a bear that doesn't give a shit? I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. Let them die and stuff them up. But go watch them at a museum or something.
yeah.
I don't give a shit. They don't do much for the environment either way. So like, fuck
Forget
it.
about the pandas.
Save the
Reintroduce wolves into Scotland. I want to
yeah
see wolves introduced to Scotland just to
yeah. So they can
fucking
go
kill
after
people.
yeah. So they can go after Nazis. Wait, what? No,
What?
no. I didn't say that out loud.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Um, but talking about movies, talking about we can go a little bit back because
Hmm.
the interesting thing about sci-fi, it grew in what we would call the Roaring '60s, when
Hmm.
the world was facing nuclear annihilation due to the Cold War. Soviet was was gonna launch some missiles, and US was gonna retaliate, and everyone else was just holy shit, we're all gonna die. Um, and that spawned sci-fi basically. Well, we have
Hmm.
some earlier iterations of sci-fi, but mostly novel form.
Yeah.
You have the 1957 Starship Troopers, which was written by an actual fascist,
Yes.
uh, which makes the movie even better because it spoofs him.
It's anti-fascist, that movie.
Yeah,
It shows you how shitty actual fascist society would be, and
yeah,
a lot of people don't get that about Starship Troopers movie. Is they all
yeah,
think it's a fascist movie. It's like no, you can see what pay attention and see what Verhoeven's saying with that movie. I mean, the characters turn up dressed as Nazi SS officers. For fuck's sake,
yeah.
it's not subtle.
It's kind of, I like how he did it because he take Robert A. Heinlein's book,
Yeah.
which Robert A. Heinlein was a fascist.
Hmm.
Like he believed in fascism, and he's dead now, so I can't go to jail. So but he believed in fascism, so he wrote Starship Troopers, and I don't think that he has the same view that the movie gave for the book, and I think that's why the movie is so different from the book
Yeah.
because it does that weird thing where it's just no, we can't do what he said because that is a lie,
Hmm.
and they show the real fascist way of doing things. And I
Yeah.
kind of like that because that's why I like the movie because it's a blunt. It's like it's not even trying to sugarcoat things. It's just
No.
like in the exercise field when the guy gets shot in the eye because the helmet doesn't fit him,
Yeah.
and Rico has to suffer that, but it was actually the state's fault.
Yeah.
But that is just yeah, it's perfect. That's it's perfect. I love it.
No. Go on. I need to know.
The best part about PVA glue is that it's water soluble. My sincere
What?
wrong chat. How many
What are you?
streams are you in?
What are you making, Dr. Crowley?
Yeah, and also, why is it necessary to be water soluble? It's,
Tell me your secrets.
I mean, is this the part when I tell that Warhammer paint is also water
Right.
soluble?
You know what? Dr. Crowley is going to remake Xtro. He's using PVA glue to make the alien costumes.
That's gonna fail. If it's water soluble with the amount of blood,
Yeah.
it's gonna fall apart. It's cosplay thing as far as I know. Yeah, I mean PVA glue. You kind of use it for anything. Three and stuff. All right. Well, let's talk.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about. I think since we're speaking about Xtro and how it's an anomaly, we can at least talk a little bit about 80's horror and
Yeah.
how 80's horror got stumped by the 70's.
Mhm.
Wait, my cat is puking.
Oh no.
She's does that weird moan.
She just saw the birthing scene from Xtro.
No, she's having a hairball.
Oh.
Fucking idiot. Uh, but 80's horror kind of suffers from that.
Hmm.
From especially from 70's. Hey, Madame Butterfly, how you doing? And I mean, I'm gonna say this. This is not a very popular opinion, but I'm not a
Hmm.
very big fan of Poltergeist, especially since I rewatched it as when I got older.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of lame.
I don't know what I feel about Poltergeist, to be honest. I mean, it's been a couple
I
years since I saw it, but I've never been
but I feel,
hugely into it.
but I feel it starts good, and then it
Hmm.
just spirals out of control. The whole ghost dimension thing is so
Nah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Doesn't really fit in with the movie. Do you get me? Like
Yeah.
it because it's about a poltergeist, and you expect it to be like the like what are you gonna call it the now I just dropped all the poltergeist cases that I actually know about, but
Yeah.
the Enfield poltergeist or
Oh yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. But then it turns out to this ghost dimension movie, and I'm just like, and then I watched it. I watched it last year, because I watched it before the remake. Before I watched the remake,
Oh yeah.
uh, first of all, the remake is just the same movie. It's just it's scene by scene the same
Mm.
movie. It's exactly the same. But second, I was like, it wasn't really that good. It wasn't really that good. And I know it's Spielberg, and his fans are toxic waste, but and I was like, fuck, this isn't really good. But then I realized when I went back and looked at there is a reason for that. But it's because the 70's fucked the 80's
Yeah.
kind of good. What other horror movies are there in the 80s? They are they're kind of lame.
Yeah,
I
there's a
mean, Hellraiser is seen as a breakthrough because it's so violent.
yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of late 80s.
I mean, I think the 80s started really strong with
Yeah.
with horror movies, like The Shining, The Thing, Evil Dead, um, a lot of John Carpenter, really. Trying to think what else. I mean, you got all the slasher films, but there were so many of those.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they
There's only a
they
few good
weren't
ones.
really graphic though. Not the
Yeah.
releases we got. I mean, director's cuts, sure,
Mm.
but we can't really count director's cuts. That's unfair. But I think the 80s was really like trying to calm down what the fuck the 70s did. It was like,
It was a weird thing of like two thoughts of movies where they would either be like Friday the 13th went with the I guess the murder scenes were kind of became what people would go there for, and was less to do with the story and characters. It's more like, oh, what inventive new ways are going to kill people now? And then,
yeah,
but also the kind of more subtle stuff again. And A Nightmare on Elm Street was like a bit, or it particularly became that as well. It was like started off creepier, and then as the series progressed, it was like more about, oh, what weird stuff are they going to do now? And it was more about
yeah,
showing off the practical effects, I guess.
yeah. Christine is a good movie, but
Oh yeah, Christine.
Christine kind of falls into what I mean with they taking it easy on the exploitative stuff.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I mean, because Christine is great because it follows the novel really good,
Hmm.
uh, in a way that is acceptable. Uh, because the novel is good, but the movie itself is kind of careful. Like that's what I mean with 80s horror. It was kind of careful. I mean, I feel like when they wrote most 80s horror, they kind of looked over the shoulder a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think definitely after the whole debacle in the UK with the video nasties, and they
Yeah,
started bringing all this regulation about that, and it was I think a lot of them were like, okay, we have to calm it down on like certain things like nudity and over the top gore, I guess.
yeah. So they did that. Christine fits into that. Christine is still a great movie, though. It's amazing. I love it. Uh, I kind of wish they don't remake it, but I don't trust Stephen King on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
The-
he likes it. There is a lot of Stephen King movies to remake, like really
yeah.
bad ones, like Tommyknockers. That
Oh yes.
that movie suck ass. A
Mhm.
lot like, and there's a lot of that. They can remake the Lawnmower Man because that
Oh
movie
yeah.
is basically just having the title.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not a lot of the Lawnmower Man novel in it. Um,
I'm looking at a list of 100 best 80s horror movies, I guess.
yeah,
What do we got here?
American
Raw,
Werewolf in London.
well, yeah, fucking 100 Rawhead Rex. No one's seen Rawhead Rex.
I don't know if I have seen that.
Rawhead Rex is a Clive Barker story, and it's the movie is it's weird. It's a guy in a suit, but I've read the comic of Rawhead Rex. That was genuinely kind of disturbing because it's full of Clive Barker's weird murder and weird sexual shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, the comic. I remember reading the comic and it was like, oh, the way it was illustrated was really good and quite disturbing. So I recommend the comic, I guess.
yeah,
What
okay,
else we
yeah.
got?
I don't think I've seen the movie.
I have no one's seen the movie. Really, no one's seen the movie. Razorback.
Isn't that a little bit of the thing with those lists? They just write down pretentious shit no one
I
gives
think
a
so
fuck
because
about.
a lot of these movies are just like, no one's watched these
Yeah, but
movies.
all right, Eraserhead is objectively good, but I
Yeah,
mean, the thing with those lists, I as a horror fanatic sometimes sit and read them, and I'm like, what? What movie now?
yeah.
And they make you feel dumb because oh, I haven't watched this movie, so I'm not a true horror fan.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? I'm going over there. I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna slap you silly.
Yeah, a lot of these movies I've never heard of.
Then mention a few.
What's this one? The Burning? No idea.
No, I haven't seen it.
Forbidden World. The Fun House? Never heard of it. Clown House?
I have seen the Funhouse. I have seen that. Isn't that wait, am I gonna pull up some really bad shit about Funhouse? Am I gonna do that? Funhouse. Isn't that the director of Jeepers Creepers?
I don't know. What the hell's Rabid Grannies?
Never seen it. Jeepers.
I've never heard of that.
We do this. I go to IMDb. Jeepers Creepers, because the guy that made Jeepers Creepers is a pedophile.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know that right now, so that is why I don't cover those movies.
I forgot they made Psycho 2. Why did they make Psycho 2?
No, God, no. He made Clown House.
Oh, no, Clown House was on the list, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's the movie in which he molested a child.
It's on this list. They made
That
Psycho
is
3.
fucking...
Yeah.
That is horrible. All right, I'm gonna say this. Everyone that watches this right now can see that my IMDb screen is on Victor Salva. I just want to point this out right now because I care about horror fans. This guy, Victor Salva, who made Clown House and Jeepers Creepers, is a convicted pedophile. Do not cover his movies. I have said that I won't, and I will never. I won't see the last Jeepers Creepers. He's a convicted pedophile. Do not support him. And it's not slander, so Twitch can't get me for that. And if they do, fuck you. It's like... I just moved to YouTube. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Society. Have you seen Society?
I don't know if I have. I don't think.
It's Brian Usner, who had produced From Beyond and
Reanimator.
Reanimator. Yeah, it's a weird film, but you should watch it. I'm not going to say anything about it.
I will watch it.
You need to watch Society and Possession. Possession's fucking weird. It's an art house movie with weird bullshit, and it's all a metaphor. I think.
I think I've seen Possession, but I don't think I really gave it attention.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you sometimes just put on a movie, and you just like skim through it, basically.
Yeah.
You just...
Possession's really weird. It's got Sam Neill in it, and for the entire film, he's just insane.
Yeah,
Not insane, just the way he's. It's Sam Neill acting, like kind of over the top. It's weird.
Sam Neill acting insane. That sounds like a bestseller.
Kind of think end of the final scenes of At the Mouth of Madness.
Oh God.
That insane for an entire movie.
That sounds great.
I'd recommend Possession. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
And Society, if no one's seen Society, it's one of those films I don't want to talk about because it's you kind of have to watch it and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Why did you fall, cat? Jesus Christ, are you drunk?
Yeah.
Did you taste my whiskey, cat?
But yeah, Society is one of those films where you watch it and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Brian, using it?
Yeah. I mean, all of these 80s, 80s horror, they are so good. It's just movies that no one has heard about.
Yeah, a lot of
it's they're not even good movies. Actually, it's just
Well, Xtro isn't even on that list, so
yeah, okay, they fell.
they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, no, but usually the 80s, like, I look through a lot of them, and sometimes it's just movies that no one gives a shit about. It's like
Mhm.
I am so into movies that I know these
Well,
movies, so I'm gonna
on that
list them.
fucking list was Necromantic, and that's just like no.
Isn't that?
Why?
Yeah, that's a bad movie.
Yeah, it's the movie about a guy and a woman who like to have sex with corpses, and it's art house and artistic and blah, but it's just like what the fuck? Like
Yeah, it's
the only people who say they like that movie are fucking pretentious assholes.
yeah, it's but I feel a lot. It's like when people talk about 80s horror and they make a list and they not do not include American Werewolf in London, I'm like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm out. It's like you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the Blob's on that list, and the Blob's fucking amazing.
Yeah, The Blob is good. I mean, that is a good movie. And The Fly.
Hmm. The,
Um,
that's three of the greatest remakes of all time. All come from the 80s: The Thing, The Fly, and The Blob.
yeah, they are all great. The Fly with Goldblum. I would kind of like to say that it's the original because the original
Yeah.
Fly is kind of campy.
Oh yeah, it's very
Uh,
1950s.
yeah,
Everyone's in lab coats
yeah,
and talking.
it's very campy. So I mean, I love the 80s for that thing. But what I like to fly with is how brave it was to just dismember Jeff Goldblum. It's just
Yeah.
it didn't give a shit. It was no, we're gonna destroy him, and you're gonna watch it, and then his ear falls off, and it's just I love this movie.
Yeah, they were very meticulous with the stages of his progression. I think
Yeah,
there was stages of his mutation that weren't actually shown, or they were shot
yeah,
but not in the film.
they cut out a piece because they had to shorten the movie. I
Ah,
think the movie was a lot longer in its original cut,
yeah,
but they had to shorten it because they wanted to show it at cinema, so it couldn't be too long. You know, this was a time when movies wasn't 8 hours long
yes.
like they are today.
Hmm.
Today a movie is 8 hours long, and frankly, that is why I don't go see them. It's
Yeah,
I know Infinity Wars is a big thing, but I'm not that into superheroes. Maybe you are.
yeah. I to be honest, I did go see it and I really liked it, but the thing about that movie is it doesn't feel its length. And
Yeah,
unlike the Hateful Eight, which I went to see, and holy fuck, I needed to leave because it was just like I can't feel my legs. I've been sat here so long. Just that movie is pointlessly long.
yeah. I mean, today movies are like they're released like what they're supposed to be like 3 hours
Yeah,
at a basis. But when The Fly was released, they were about what 1 hour 20
yeah, if
something
that.
like that, if that, and so they had to cut it down. So they had a lot of stages of his involvement into the fly that wasn't in the movie,
Hmm.
but they managed to cut together the pieces enough, sort of, to
Hmm.
make it believable. You know, so they didn't lose much, but today they could do the fly, and I feel like if that movie is remade today it's probably gonna be terrible because it's uh,
If they remade it today, it would be in three parts. Each part
yeah,
would be his different transformation.
yeah, it's kind of like the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
I saw the first in cinema and the second, and then I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm out. Fuck whatever fuck this shit is.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. Um, and I'm almost surprised that Alien Covenant wasn't 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Um,
I get the impression that that movie was cut down a lot. Whether if it
yeah,
was that the script or whatever, but I have a feeling a lot was taken out of that movie.
yeah, I think so too. It was just someone was just like, no, Ridley.
it really seems like there's a section of that movie that's just gone.
Yeah.
Because it goes from one thing and then it's all of a sudden, oh, by the way, alien eggs and aliens and like, what's happened? We're in a completely different movie now. And
Yeah, and I
ugh,
mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm against the whole lengthy movie idea, but I'm
yeah,
against it. Mostly because it sucks.
yes,
Because
especially in a cinema.
yeah, it sucks. It's useless. I mean, yeah, sure, some movies can be real long. Let's say Dunkirk, or
Mm,
if you do a director's cut of Saving Private Ryan or something, maybe that
yeah,
can be long because you know there's a reason for it. But if you make a movie, if you make it too long, I'm gonna stop caring after a while. It's just
yeah.
it's I can't focus that long. Like Jesus. Uh, all right, so all right, this podcast isn't half too long. It's amazing. Um, but if we're gonna touch on movies being too long, or movies overall, the whole thing with making movies longer, I think, lies in that people think that time is quality.
Yes, which is a problem with video games as well.
Yeah,
People equate length to quality when I can assure you, you can have a shitty game, and just because it's 70 hours long does not make it good or worth your money. Same with
no.
movies.
I think Jim Sterling made a video about that. How you can
Yeah,
equate money put in by the hour,
yeah,
like because it doesn't matter if it's shit, it's shit. Like you can have 300 hours in, like, say, Don't Starve,
yeah.
and it's a great game. But if you have 300 hours in Silent Hill 2, you're just useless at the game. It's like it's not your game. um, but I think that can go to movies as well, because I don't
Mm,
think that length is necessarily quality. I think
no.
sometimes it's filled with a lot of shit. Like, see how the Hobbit movies turned out? What they
Yes.
had to fill out with? Like, they made up so much shit.
Yeah, you really needed that love triangle, didn't you?
Yeah, and not only that, in the beginning of the second movie, is it the second movie? Or is it at the beginning of the third movie that Smo is shot down?
Yeah.
Which is it? Second or third?
The beginning of the third movie where you get actually
Yeah.
shot down.
And it's like, what?
Yeah,
And then
it's
you
like
fill it with shit for
they
like 3 hours.
shoot him down. It's like, oh, the movie's over, but we're 10 minutes in. Like, oh man, has anyone made a fan edit of those films yet? Where they just get rid of all the fucking bullshit?
Wait, I don't think anyone has done that, but
Someone should make a fan edit of those three Hobbit films to make it one film.
yeah. Wait, they also took a lot of stuff from Silmarillion. No, they didn't.
I
They did some maybe, but not to the extension of actually being Silmarillion.
Yeah, Similarian's unfilmable,
Yeah,
but I think they want to try.
they did some. They took some ideas of it.
That's a very good point, Doctor Crowley. Yeah, you would have to
Yeah, that would be
sit and watch them all.
awful. That would be awful. I mean, because the Hobbits fail at so many levels, and I'm not gonna blame the actors or anything for this. This is all on Peter Jackson and production company, because they just because the actors are great. They're doing a great job, but it's just so bad. It's so bad. Like yeah, the love triangle. Fuck that shit. Or make up that Legolas was there. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, just
Uh,
no.
or any of that. It's just terrible. It's they I mean, I can't look through this. I can look through Lord of the Rings. I can do that at any time. Like I can
Yeah.
pop in those movies and
Mm-hmm.
watch them straight through. Extended versions, right? 9 hours. I can sit there and like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But The Hobbit, no. I can barely
No.
make it through one.
Yeah.
It's
I know I've seen two of them, but couldn't tell you what happened. I know there was no, there was part of a dragon. I think that was in the end of the second one.
I mean,
There
the
was,
dragon is great. The scene with the dragon, when
yeah.
Bilbo is in the golden chamber
Hmm.
and the dragon talks to him, that's a scene that is great. Like, it's
Yeah.
great because it shows the dragon has a personality.
Hmm.
Like, Smo is like, he is, he has a personality and all. And that is
Yeah.
great. But then he just gets shot down in the third movie. It's like, all right, you killed him. Great.
Well,
What are we gonna do now? What is this? Oh, love triangle and a lot of other bullshit I don't care about.
I remember there being a lot of shenanigans in those movies, just like set pieces of wackiness, and it's just like, what is this?
Yeah, there's a lot of it, and some of it is because Bilbo is written like a children's book, so
Mhm.
so it has a lot of songs in it,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
try to put in those songs in these movies. You know how they in the Lord of the Rings skip that, right? Because in the Lord of the Rings there is a lot of songs too. They just didn't take that in
Mhm.
because that wouldn't make great for the movie. They even skipped the part in Lord of the Rings with Tom Bombadil
yeah,
just to get the movie a real feel because that
yeah,
would take you out of the movie so it wouldn't, add to the fantasy story because it doesn't. It's just Tolkien smoking too much weed. It's,
yeah.
I mean, that's literally what it is. It's, I don't, when I read Lord of the Rings, I skip Tom Bombadil because I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
it's
fuck
such a
this.
hard read.
Yeah, it's like, fuck this shit. And, and the
It's
movies did the same.
yeah, no, it was a very good idea. It's like, I remember reading it as a kid and just being like, holy fuck, why won't this end?
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like reading one of Lovecraft's tirade pages. Like
Oh, where he just, yeah, yeah,
it's like, oh my god, can you just shut the fuck up and go on? Because that happens sometimes when you read Lovecraft. It's just
yeah.
you just want to close the book, put it in the furnace, and just light it on
He
fire.
he
Because he's
fixates on the weirdest things sometimes.
oh my god, and there's so many words. It's like, can you just you can't just say it's a gloop.
No.
You don't have to say 20 words to describe a gloop. Like, and sometimes you do that, but it's the same with Tolkien because it's obvious that they have similar writing style. Because I'm gonna guess because they're British,
Hmm.
it's like they just have to drag it out because British people love to do that for some reason. I watched John Oliver, so I know. But it's just and in the Hobbit movies, they didn't have enough material for 3 movies, so they just
No.
made up shit, and it's all shit. I mean, it's all crap, all of it, all the brotherhood between the two dwarves, the love triangle with Legolas, and
Yeah.
that elf that doesn't exist. I don't. I never remember a name. The weird barrel scene.
Oh God. Yeah, that's what I mean by shenanigans.
Yeah. The weird scene in the third one when they ride down the molten gold.
Yeah.
No,
Again,
is that the
it's just
second one? No, it's the
yeah.
third one, I think.
No, that was the second one
Yeah, it's the second
because
one.
I've seen that one, and yeah, that was just like that was the barrel scene all over again, just shenanigans.
and
Like,
how badly the gold looked,
well,
like how
the problem with
off.
those scenes is they don't develop the story, they don't develop the characters. They're just there to show off exciting scenes that aren't exciting. It's just to show off shitty CGI, really. That's what it comes across as. Because it doesn't add to the film, it doesn't add to the characters. It's just there,
And it's
and it's just like,
shitty
why?
CGI
Yeah, it really
because the
is. Like
gold
gold.
looks really bad.
Hmm.
I mean, it looks terrible, especially when it melts down from that dwarf statue. That
Yeah.
looks like that looks like actual shit. Like that looks like the shit I fart out after
Yeah.
a night out. It's that is dog shit, and it's like everything about it is just bad. And then you have the Battle of the Five Armies, stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it's just the worst version of Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Everything about it is terrible. It's just, oh my god, I hate it. Um, and Lindsay Ellis did a series about The Hobbit, by the way.
Mm.
If you haven't seen that,
I haven't.
um, she talks about the production and stuff. It explains a lot, like how Peter
Yeah.
Jackson was exhausted, like he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
There's, uh,
Well, it was like Del Toro was supposed to do them for the longest time as well.
yeah, he was the one.
But I can see, I mean, looking at what happened, I can see why he probably left.
No,
Because,
he got booted.
oh, did he get booted? Oh,
Yeah,
so he,
he didn't get to do them, and Del Toro was openly really sad about it because he
I,
thought he was going to do The Hobbit.
I see that screams me that he had his own kind of vision of how he wanted to do it, and the studio was like, no, do it like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because Lindsay Ellis videos talk about that a lot.
All right, cool. I need to
Her,
watch those.
yeah, they are really good. She even interviews some of the actors, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So it's really good. They talk about the production and stuff like that. And uh, uh, Guillermo del Toro had his written idea for The Hobbit,
Hmm.
and but then it was reacted because the studio, as you said, wanted it more like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But Guillermo del Toro said that that is wrong because The Hobbit is not like Lord of the Rings.
No,
No, in any way. If you
it's
read The
so
Hobbit,
different.
it is very like Lord of the Rings is very dark.
Yeah,
Like
Lord of the Rings
it's
is the big saga of the universe, and it's very dark. The Hobbit is very light-hearted. It's a book for kids.
yeah,
Like he wrote it for kids, so it's very light-hearted. It's more of a happy adventure.
yeah,
That's lively, and it's just like they don't match up. The mood is completely different.
yeah. And the Lord of the Rings, the reason Peter Jackson could do them was because they are so dark that
Yes.
it is so easy to write in dark themes that happens. You know,
Yeah.
you can put in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It doesn't have to be in the book, but you know it works because it's dark. Lord of the Rings is dark. It's amazingly dark. It's like this. People usually say the Game of Thrones is a dark version of Lord of the Rings, but I wouldn't technically
No.
agree because the Lord of the Rings I think is darker because they are watching the end of the world.
Yeah, it's like literally apocalypse. I don't know, I understand why people think Game of Thrones is darker. Well, because there's rape. Oh, it's so dark. It's like no, it's like it's a completely different ballpark when it comes to like the subject matter.
I would stretch to that Game of Thrones is darker at an individual level. Like
Hmm.
it's darker because it's actual based on medieval Europe.
Oh,
So
it's
it's
based more on the War of the Roses and stuff.
yeah, so it's actually based on actual humans,
Yeah,
which make
well,
it a little
the
bit
whole
darker.
that whole red wedding thing that happens in there is based on an actual event.
Yeah,
It wasn't a wedding, but it's like in Scotland they used to have the thing where if you give people food, then you had to take care of them. Like
yeah,
that was a whole thing in Scotland, and a regiment of English soldiers were staying with these. I can't remember the clan or anything. Names escape me, but they stayed with them, and then the regiment of English soldiers basically got a command from whoever, and was basically like, "Yeah, kill them all." And they're like, but we can't. We shared food with them. That would be. I'm like, no, kill them all, and they just slaughtered this entire group. So that's based on
Yeah,
real
I
things.
know. It's part of the War of the Roses, right?
I don't think that's part of the War of the Roses. I
Okay,
can't remember exactly.
might not be, but
I don't know.
the thing is, Game of Thrones is also heavily based on Sweden and
Mm,
Swedish medieval history,
right.
and our influential part of Northern Europe. That's why you have Winterfell, because
Yeah.
Winterfell is basically Sweden, Norway,
Hmm.
Finland, and I mean, yeah, it's that because Lord of the Rings is not that. But that's why I think it feels darker because it's more on an individual basis darker.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
Lord of the Rings is dark as fuck,
Yeah.
and it's so dark that Aragorn uses ghosts to help him in the battles. Like that, they summon the ghost army,
Yeah.
and that is dark because that is like he goes into this grave basically this and begs them to help him in the
Well,
battle against Mordor.
he doesn't even beg. He forces them because he has the
Yeah,
sword in the air.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's like,
He forces them, and for the battle of Mordor, and
yeah,
it's like it's really dark. Like if you read Lord of the Rings, you will notice that every damn character in that spreadsheet is depressed.
yeah,
No one of them is happy. They're never seeing a bright outlook. Like Aragon has his speeches, but they are never really bright, are they? They are
no,
usually only, well, we can try.
yeah,
It's very dark, and
hmm,
people see Lord of the Rings as this epic, happy-go-lucky tale, but it's not. If you actually read it, it's not, and I think the movie captures that really well, because it's when, let's say when they go through Moria,
yeah,
is anyone happy about that?
no.
No.
They, they, ha-
Is any one of the characters ever happy in the movie except for the part of Bilbo's birthday?
yeah, that's the first and only time you ever see any of those characters be happy. It's just misery after that.
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings as a book is the same.
Hmm.
You see the descent of Boromir,
Yeah,
and you see how even Legolas starts to question things.
yeah,
You
and the
know,
overall like corruption of the world and everyone.
yeah, it's really dark. So
Well, like, oh, I forgot the guy's name. Where he tries to burn his son and himself.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like, what the
yeah, I forgot
fuck?
the name.
Yeah, what the hell's his name?
Oh god damn it! This is something you should know.
Yeah,
That's the worst part of it, is it? Uh, but the whole thing with Lord of the Rings, even when you talk about when they come to the prancing pony,
yeah.
how depressing it is.
That's every. It's dark. It's raining. Even when you see fucking Aragon for the first time, he's sitting in the corner smoking a pipe, looking like he's about to kill everyone.
Yeah,
It's
it
really dark.
and
And then,
in the book it's similar,
oh god,
like
yeah,
because
I remember reading the book and
is really dark. Like
yeah,
it's not a happy place they come to. They
nah,
come to a really sad pub, and everyone is fucking miserable.
it
Eh,
really captures the kind of ambience of the end of the world.
yeah, and I think people forget that
Hmm.
a lot when we're talking about we say Lord of the Rings or the stuff. That's why the Hobbit movies feel so out of shape. But the Hobbit movies also feels out of shape because they feel out of shape of the actual book, The Hobbit.
Yeah,
Because The Hobbit is a happy book, but not that happy.
yeah.
Like it's stupid. The movies are stupid. I hate them. I hate them. They should just let Del Toro do them.
Yep.
He's a way better director for that.
Well, it's
Mostly because Peter Jackson was tired.
I think you can tell that Peter Jackson just did not want to do it, and he phoned the entire thing in, which is what the studio wanted. They just wanted someone to make it exactly like Lord of the Rings so they could make money. And I suppose they got their way
Yeah,
in the end.
but then it also fails to be like Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
because I think there is few movies with such an epic entry scene as Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
When Galadriel talks about the rings,
Yeah.
and how Isildur cut off the ring of Sauron, but he didn't throw the ring into the Mount Doom. And that whole thing is just, you can feel the passion in that scene when they
That
did
well,
it.
that's those entire three movies. You can feel the passion, and in contrast to The Hobbit, we just feel cold and lifeless and just bleh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That is exactly what I feel like. It's
You
just
can
bleh.
Lord
But
of the Rings is passion, and The Hobbit is ugh.
but the worst thing here, and I take this from Lindsay Ellis' videos, is
Mm.
that the actors didn't feel that.
Yeah.
They weren't blah. They were full in, like
Hmm.
full in for the movies, but the directors and producers wasn't,
Yeah.
and that shows.
Hmm.
That shows so bad because there is no bad acting in there. Like they all do a great job. All of the dwarves are great. All of the makeup is great. People really put in effort, but eventually it fell out kind of flat,
Hmm.
like really flat, like disturbingly flat. You know, it's annoying. I hate it because actually I don't think The Hobbit is worth making a movie out.
No, it would work, but if they're gonna do it like a mini series, maybe would be worth it. But it's too short.
It's too unexciting. I think.
There's a lot of just kind of sit around eating and singing.
I mean, I don't hate The Hobbit. I like it as a book, but I don't
Yeah,
think it can work as a movie at
it
all
it
because it's
doesn't translate.
no, because it doesn't have the format of a movie either. If you
Yeah.
if you look if you look at Lord of the Rings, it had a perfect makeup being three books because you
Yeah.
have the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Hmm.
The Hobbit doesn't have that. I don't
No.
think he has a middle and an end.
Well, I think it's because The Hobbit, because it was a children's book, it was more designed to be read at night as the children, so it wasn't a complete story. It was like sections almost.
Yeah,
So you could read a section to your child as they go to sleep, and they wouldn't like miss the whole big picture kind of thing.
yeah, I think that too, and that's and if they were gonna try to make Silmarillion, which I'm fairly certain they will at some point,
Mm,
but I think that the Tolkien Foundation is gonna fight it.
hopefully,
Uh,
yeah.
they did fight the Hobbit.
Mm,
Uh, they didn't fight the first Hobbit, but they fought the two others. I think.
yeah.
Because they thought like, now you're just using our work, basically you're just using Tolkien's work, and I kind of agree,
Yeah.
because the Hobbit should have been one movie at most.
Yeah.
I would have preferred it to be not a movie, because if you can't read the Hobbit, you don't deserve movies. It's a short book.
It's really an easy read as well.
Yeah, Tolkien made sure it was an easy read.
Hmm.
Like he really put in effort into making it easy read. And this is a character that can describe a grass straw in
Yeah.
5 pages if he wants to.
Hmm.
Right, if he wants to. Um, so that's it. But I hope they don't make Silmarillion. Oh my god!
No, me neither. That
If
just
they
doesn't work.
if they do that, I will. Yeah, I don't know. It's horrible. They should make more Lovecraft movies instead.
They should, but they probably won't. just because
No.
there's not a market for it, and I have a feeling if they tried to make a Lovecraft thing, the whole oh guess what, he was a huge racist asshole would really come into foreground. So like they'll avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, but I kind of like the idea when we're talking about like Reanimator and stuff,
Mm.
how they kind of drive that out, because
Yeah,
Reanimator as itself as a book is I'm gonna say it like it's racist
yeah,
to a disturbing degree.
sure is.
It's hard to read
Hmm.
because at some parts there is a part in the movie where you see a naked man's butt.
Yeah.
I call it the naked man butt, and it's usually when you take a shot because it's a naked man's butt. And uh, in the book, the scene doesn't really quite play out like that because
No.
he describes it as a behind of a person that resembles more of a monkey.
Yes.
And that is a hard read because
Hmm.
it's like you read that and you're like, what now?
Yeah.
Uh, and Reanimator is problematic. I mean, it's a great novel, but I mean, even if you in the 80's couldn't translate it
No.
as it was written, there might be a certain problem with it.
Hmm.
And there absolutely is. And I have had this discussion with fellow Lovecraftians for a long time. There is a lot of racist apologists. Like they like, yeah, but he was a
Oh no,
product.
but he was a product of his time.
Yeah, and I was like, no, no, he was not. He
He was a
was,
product of a shitty upbringing and a xenophobic family.
yeah, and he was also viewed as kind of extremist even by his
Oh
peers.
yeah. Hmm.
His
Like, holy shit. I mean, his fucking ex-wife burned all of the letters. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the letters. And like, she was like, "Yeah, that's a." Even like her, and some friends of the went on record to say, "Yeah, he wrote some horrible shit about some
yeah,
people," and like she burnt like I can't remember like after they
yeah,
got divorced, she burnt like a ton of letters because she was just like, "Fuck this, I'm done with this shit."
yeah, and if you consider it being 1930's, you gotta kind of think of how bad it had been.
Yeah, that's a fucking high bar.
Uh, and a lot of them did the same.
Mhm.
He ghost wrote Psycho,
Yes.
um, and the author there, Bolsh. Uh, he also didn't reveal some letters he got in from Lovecraft.
Yeah.
He refused to do it because he said that it would put my friend in a very bad position.
Hmm.
And that's because he was a horrible piece of shit. I mean, Lovecraft was a sad person. He died a sad death.
Yep.
Everything is horrible about him. His death is horrible because,
He couldn't. They couldn't even afford to give him a gravestone. People
yeah,
years later had to put money to get that together.
yeah. Uh, Lovecraft's death was horrible because he suffered a lot.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it kind of feels good knowing that the shit he wrote about black people and not Anglo Saxons. He
Yeah.
was very particular about the Anglo Saxon part. So he would have hated Scottish people,
Yeah. Irish people.
the Irish people, he hated Swedish people.
He was. He. I think. Oh, out of all people from Britain, he really hated the Irish.
Yeah,
Like, did not like the Irish at all. Which is what I think what made him when he lived in New York for a little while really bad for him was
yeah.
the amount of Irish people there because he said some fucked up stuff about all the Irish people who lived in New York at the time.
Yeah, so there is a lot of letters we will never get because they are literally burnt.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you kind of defend his racism, you should know that because that means that we don't know how bad it actually was.
Yeah. Like we can see it in like stories like Red Hook and like it's ridiculous in Red Hook at points, but we don't know how bad it was. If they were gonna publish shit like Red Hook,
Yeah.
what the fuck was he saying in those letters that they didn't want to publish, you know?
Yeah, it's like what was in there? Because
Mm,
I know he got a little bit less racist the closer to
sure.
his death he was, but I feel like that is a little bit of human cowardice,
Hmm.
like how humans try to repent themselves.
Possibly. I mean,
Uh,
it could be that, or it could be he just left the house more often. Because
yeah, it might be that too. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's hard to
yeah,
tell,
it's
but
one of those things we'll never know.
I usually say it's like it's a typical of a human dying to repent a lot of shit is said and
Yeah.
realizing that it's all fucking bogus.
Hmm.
But he said a lot of shit, and African Americans, whew, that he did not like blacks. Like
Nope.
he did not like blacks.
Fucking at least I think two of his stories, the big horrifying reveal was the character has African descendant, like they're descended from Africans. Ooh, oh no. Like what that's the horrifying reveal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the thing with Lovecraft is he had this weird fixation with Anglo Saxons,
Yeah.
and doesn't that remind you of current people
Mm,
like the alt right and stuff like that? They kind of
yeah.
had the same views in
I,
a weird
oh,
way.
that reminds me. I was listening to the was it the HP Podcraft. I don't know if you've ever heard that one.
Yeah, I
They
know
had
what it is.
yeah, they had Patton Oswald on for an episode. It's a really good episode, and yeah, he started talking about similar stuff, and he's just like, I hope the alt right doesn't grab hold of Lovecraft because they probably will.
They will. They
Yeah,
absolutely will. They already have in some spots. I have
yeah,
already seen it. And that's the problem because, you know, I'm a defender of Lovecraft, but you gotta know where to draw the line.
yeah,
It's like I can draw the line with a person being awful because he lived in an abusive home or
hmm,
something like that. But it doesn't warrant a lot of the opinions he expressed.
yeah.
Like a lot of it isn't even learned from relatives. Some of
No,
it is just complete fucking horse shit. It's I remember the line in Reanimator, as I said before, the one that it looks more like an ape,
yeah,
and I was like, no, it doesn't, because you only see the ass, and that's human, but it's brown, and wow. And the Swedish version didn't censor that,
yeah.
which I'm kind of glad for that because
Hmm.
you kind of react
I
to it, you know.
it's one of the, it's been brought up before whether or not that shit stuff should be censored, and it's like I don't. The original stuff shouldn't, but if you want to adapt it, sure. But I
Yeah,
think we should maintain the original.
I think there should be, let's say a librarian cut or whatever.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
But I think there should be available the actual cut because
Yeah.
you kind of react to it. I mean, if you don't react to it,
Mm.
then you're fucked.
The
Like,
the problem, like we've discussed this many times before, the Lovecraft you cannot avoid the racism, so don't get rid of it. I, in my opinion, any form of racism that you see in the past should not be censored or like kept going. You fully like say this is what people used to think like, and that's fucked. No one wants to live like that. They treat people horribly, like, and use it as a
yeah,
base for lesson. So again, Lovecraft stuff should be kept like that.
yeah,
You take the racism with it, and you see, wow, what an asshole.
yeah. I just want to say thank you to Demon Bunny for the follow. But yeah, but here's the thing: when discussing Lovecraft, I have a long overdue video on doing this because I did a
Yeah.
biography on Lovecraft. I didn't mention much of the racism because I felt like I would be derailed a little
Yeah.
bit because I wanted to talk about Lovecraft and his life. But I feel like there's one thing that is very important to know when it comes to talking to Lovecraft. People didn't think like this at that time. He thought like this.
Yeah.
He was constantly attacked for it.
Yeah.
Like,
He
white,
lost public. I'm pretty sure he lost publications over it.
yeah, people was racist back then, yes, but they were not Lovecraft racist, which should tell you a fucking lot. It's his racism is so blatant. It's it shows.
Yeah.
Like, we all know it's the basis of his storytelling overall,
Sure.
and we can all discuss that. That's a bigger discussion, but it probably has. But the thing is, when people answer him in mails like, "I don't like that you write that," and it's like other white people writing that, it's
Yeah.
like maybe he's a little bit more racist than the rest. Like, I don't. He's a little bit more maybe Southborn.
Yeah. The argument, oh, it was just a matter of time. It's such a cop out fucking reasoning anyway.
Yeah,
Like
because it's
just
not.
like just because people were shitty once does not excuse that shitty behavior.
No, it doesn't.
Unless it's like someone who's like realizes their mistakes and actually changes, but
He never did.
no, but and he's
Like,
dead, so what the
yeah, but he never did in his life
but
either.
but I
He,
mean like people who are alive now, if they're like
yeah,
shitty person, but like, oh, I've been a shitty person, I treat they come to realization. It's like, yes, then like forgive that, but never forget, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
As a as a
Because
as a society as a whole,
it's kind of important to never forget.
you
I
have to
mean,
remember the kind of shitty things, the bad times to avoid those same mistakes.
yeah, exactly. Because I usually say, so yeah, Lovecraft is dead. He cannot defend himself today. But to be fucking honest, I don't think it would make any difference because I don't
No.
think he would defend himself in any favor.
Even towards the end of his life, he did say, like, from his early works, like, basically, what the fuck was I doing? And I can't believe I wrote that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's the eternal question: is would he have, like, if he'd actually lived longer, would he have fully kind of
Nah.
repented? We don't
No,
know.
no. Uh, I usually see it as when he started dying.
Hmm.
I think he started to realize how shit of a person he was,
Yeah,
and I kind of started feeling that he feared God, and that is a common theme.
yeah,
It's even if you don't believe in God, you start fearing God.
hmm,
Like, even so, if people say like, "Do you believe in God?" you would still say no, but you kind of do.
yeah,
And then you kind of realize that you were an asshole. But
hmm,
you should also know that Lovecraft died in the rise of the Nazis,
yes,
uh, which might have put his thought a little bit different too.
yeah,
Because he might have realized that, holy shit, am I rooting for the Nazis? And he was like, yeah, I can't do that.
yeah. I think if he had lived it, that would have been a definitely defining moment in his outlook, probably.
Yeah,
One way or the other, you know.
yeah, it's I think the two. But to describe Lovecraft as the person he was, he was he suffered a lot. Like, I wouldn't wish my enemy the life he had because
Yeah.
that is one awful life. Like,
Hmm.
and I can somewhat understand his hateful feeling. I don't understand why it was directed at minorities. I don't understand that.
I mean, it could just become ignorance or they look different. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people
I think
who are like this
yeah, I think
need the
it has
smallest
more.
excuse.
I think it has more with that he was supposed to be the master race,
No,
but it wasn't,
no.
and therefore he directed some. See, like today's insults or stuff like that. It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
I think as history repeats itself, you know.
Well, people will always find something else to blame their own problems on.
Yeah,
Regardless of what side of the political debate they're on, their lifestyle, they will always find it's those people that are responsible for my pain.
yeah,
When I'm going to say 90% of the time, it's your own fault. You
yeah.
have The only way you can change stuff in your life that are going shitty is doing it yourself. Standing and going, oh, those people, it's their fault. No, you don't get anywhere. You just become bitter and horrible person.
I'm not gonna blame anyone, but I'm also gonna blame the
No,
Americans.
fair enough. It's just so easy.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think that will
Oh,
what?
one thing. Since we were talking about Lovecraft, I was looking at the IMDb trivia, and here's an interesting paragraph. Even though the plot involves extraterrestrials, the creatures in the film are no point referred to as aliens. Some fans are thinking of them as Lovecraftian type beings.
Oh, fuck off!
I'm done.
Fuck off!
No!
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 They are not Lovecraftian. There is nothing Lovecraftian with Xtro.
They did it again!
There is nothing. Like there is.
Every time. Every fucking time.
Every fucking time there is a tentacle. Oh my
It's that
god!
it's that image I made, man. It is that image. Every fucking time there is a tentacle.
But it's not Lovecraftian. There's nothing with Xtro that is Lovecraftian.
No. Also, I found I don't know what this is. It's a movie poster for The Thing.
Yeah.
You just need to see it. Put it on Discord.
Post it on Discord. I will see it. What the fuck is this? Wait. What? Oh, yeah, you can see it. Wait. I'm gonna move us out of the picture a little bit. What in the fuck is this?
I don't know.
This is not an official poster.
I don't know what it is. I just found it on the internet.
Why is she a dog? He? She? I don't know. What is this? This infuriates me. It fell from the sky and lay buried in the ice for 100,000 years. It's even broken English. Soon it will be free and become one of us. The Thing. And then you have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with a face of a human, and then a dog lady, a loosened head, and then you got the protagonist here. The whiskey drinker.
What kind of gun is that?
I don't know. It's not a shotgun.
It's got two misaligned barrels, a magazine, and a tube that might be a scope.
Yeah, that's a typical like old iron scope before zoom.
I guess. But I didn't realize that Charles Manson was in the
but it
film.
doesn't have a shoulder holder either. It's the holder of the way you hold the gun.
The longer I look at it, the funnier it gets.
What is this weapon? It's stupid. This weapon is actually, I'm gonna say it. This weapon is actually retarded. Like, because you can't hold it. He shoots it. He doesn't even shoot it, but the gun fires.
Yeah.
He doesn't even hold on the trigger. But the gun fires, so it's an automatic space gun.
There appears to be another line coming out of the under barrel. I guess that's supposed to be.
Is that a laser sight?
Maybe it's a laser sight. I don't know.
What is it? It doesn't even look like him, by the way.
No,
It's
it looks like Charles Manson.
yeah, yeah, it's Charles
It
Manson.
looks
Yeah.
like Charles Manson in
It's
the Matrix.
it's Charles Manson with his Matrix gun.
It's like it honestly looks like someone took mushrooms and then watched the thing and said, "Yeah, I can make a poster." What?
They have actual shotguns in the movie, right? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's actual shotguns.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What the fuck is this? It's not even a line. It's kind of it's centimeters apart too.
yeah.
So the barrel is like centimeters apart,
Hmm.
and then it only fires from the big barrel. I don't know what the big barrel is.
Why has
But
it got? Why has it got a magazine? And why is the magazine there on the gun?
and why is it bent backwards?
I don't. Everything about this gun is wrong.
Everything about this picture is wrong. It's
Yeah, that too.
the picture is horrifying. Why did you show me this? This is I would never watch the thing again.
I'm.
It's
You're saying this, but I'm totally printing this out and putting it on my wall. I need this in my life.
that is the worst promo picture I have seen in my life. I
I,
think
w- I want to say it's fan art. I honestly have no clue what it's supposed to be.
can it be fan art when it looks that old? I don't know. Is it possible?
I don't know.
God, it's awful. It's outright disgusting.
Yep.
It's everything about it from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle creature without a shell.
Yeah.
It's God, it's that horror. And why would her head be on the dog? I still don't understand that because the dogs never get
The
a
head-
human head. That
No.
that isn't that Mars Attacks?
Yes.
Yeah,
Also, the head has vampire teeth.
Yeah,
No
it's
clue.
they took Mars Attacks and put into this movie because Mars Attacks is stupid, but it's also funny.
Yeah.
Also, it's also funny seeing Sarah Jessica Parker die. But I mean, that is personal enjoyment. Don't judge me. Uh, me asking online, don't judge me asking an actor to die. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just me. Wow, this is horrible.
Yes.
This is absolutely horrendous. I hate
I thought I'd end the podcast by showing you the most cursed image.
this is yeah, this is cursed. This is
Yeah.
so unbelievably cursed. This is worse than looking at Laura Southern. I mean, and I hate that woman to the guts. Like
I'm gonna-
fucking neon.
I'm gonna get this printed on a T-shirt, and next time I'm on the podcast, I'm gonna wear it.
If you send me it, I would kill you. I would go over there, and I would fucking look you up. It's like, if I get this T-shirt, I would be so offended that we just go straight to Ryanair because they have cheap flights. And I would like, where the fuck do I get to England, and where the fuck do this boy live? And I would get there, and I would knock on your door, and just open it, and I shotgun the fuck out of you. And then the police come, and I'm like, it was fucking worth it. Take me. 11
you say
years,
that.
so take it.
But as soon as you open the door, there's just gonna be a poster of that right there. Just open the boom.
Immediate fire. It's,
Yeah. So bring a flamethrower. It'll be appropriate.
Why are you giving me advice how to do it? It's like, it's super weird.
Because now that I've seen it, I want to die.
Bring a flamethrower, take me with you. Take me with you. And then I would suicide with the flamethrower. That would be a fun scene for CNN.
Yeah, how did I know this podcast was going to be turned into a suicide pact? I knew it.
I don't
I
know, but
fucking knew it.
I fucking knew it as well. It's just the way it goes. This
Yeah,
podcast has miraculous things happen. We talk about bad movies.
yeah.
We talk about good movies,
And
and sometimes we agree on that. Sometimes it's worthy to die.
I just show you
It's
the worst box art ever made.
why do you always do that? Like we can talk about that, by the way, because you always do that. Because you did that with Silent Hill too.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I'm
should.
obsessed with it.
You're
Oh,
you're the worst human being, and that's why I like to have you on the podcast. It's like you never know what this motherfucker will show up with. It can be, it can be bad artwork. It can be, a penis. I don't know. It's like we don't know.
not mine.
No,
Someone,
not yours.
someone
I'm just
else's.
saying that maybe one shows up and then says, "Oh,
You're not,
okay." Is it
you're
a
not going to be surprised.
yeah, so no, I stream with Tom. Of course,
Yeah,
penis is here. It's like, of course it is.
yeah.
No, but
Uh,
no, no, but it's fun to stream with you. I
yeah.
look forward to more streams.
Hmm.
We would probably, I would probably pick out more movies that we're gonna watch.
Hmm.
That we can talk about because it's funny to do that. And the fact that people watch this because they can be asked to actually watch these movies. And I gotta say to those people that watch this and feel that way, I get you. Like, I understand that there is more important things in your life than watching Xtro. Like, yeah, you have children or a job, and maybe you have to actually have a life, and you can watch Xtro, but that is why we are here
Yes,
because we don't have that, and
exactly.
we just fail at every level on the social ladder, and we are here for you. We cover that for you, so you don't have to. Basically,
Yeah.
um, maybe we do 90s movies next time, which is basically a suicide mission.
Mm.
Because that is an area of bad. Wow, it's bad. It's 90 movies. Not only is it bad movies, but it's bad cover art. It's like it's
Oh
the
yeah. The Scream
oh
cover art
no, oh god,
where it's
oh
just
god.
everyone's faces. It's like, oh fuck me.
No, the not yeah, the 90 thing of showing every actor's face.
Yes, everyone's faces.
Yeah,
Just faces on a black background.
yeah, with some green
Hmm.
and stuff like that. No, but thank you for joining the podcast.
Yeah.
I will upload this on Sunday because I have a 24-hour
Yeah.
partnership agreement with Twitch, which I want to break. I have broken it several times, but it's just because I'm so small they don't care.
Yes.
I haven't gotten paid yet by Twitch. I think I won't get paid for another while, but
No, neither do I.
when they do that, I will actually enforce the rules. Like,
Yes.
it's like I got it paid. Okay, I abide by it. But until next time, and until next time, we see Tom with his beautiful beard and fluffy fucking hair.
Next time it will be longer.
It's almost a hipster hair. It is a hipster.
What are you talking
He
about?
covered it up. He covered it up. He covered it up. I'm outraged now. No. It's like you just need a craft beer.
Oh
Are you
yeah.
drinking craft beer?
Pick one out. I will make a craft beer and it will have that shitty thing poster on it. Then my ascend to hipsterdom will be complete.
And you would be on my podcast, and then I would just rage quit 5 minutes in. It would
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, yeah, no, fuck it, I'm done with you, motherfucker. It's like, done! No, but thank you so much for joining in tonight. It
Yeah.
was really great. It was really fun talking about Xtro and all of the other stuff we talk about. Usually, as I said, our podcast can never stay on topic. We always derail to whatever topic there is like child molestation for some reason. It just happens. It's shit that goes wrong. That is usually what I actually should call the podcast. Shit that goes wrong.
It is a descent into madness.
Yeah, and I love it. I fucking love
Like
it.
this.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
What in the fuck is that? No.
This is why you should watch Society. End it.
I'm
End
ending
it.
it. I'm ending it. Bye.